Gay behavior.
The provider role and the example and the advice, and you just show up and be a good example while you're there, and then you could disappear, important, and then you show back up with something in your hand, whether it's toys or gifts or money or food or whatever.
Um, you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah. So I agree with
And
Cherry.
excuse me for 1 second. Thanks for this room, Eamon. Cherry, I really appreciate you, girl. I really like you wholeheartedly. I followed you guys. I am in the car now, my truck now, and I've gotten dressed. I brushed my teeth. I look good. I got my children in the car, and we are headed out to enjoy our Saturday. If you guys are still here when I get back home, I will join in the room. But I am headed out to enjoy our Saturday in the beautiful Phoenix, Arizona. Thank you for holding this space. Bye, everybody.
Enjoy your day.
Bye.
We hope to see
Enjoy
you
your
back again in
time.
the space.
Yeah, so I was saying I agree with Cherry about that time that you do spend with your children. Make sure it is quality time. But then also there's an importance of, I don't know, at least in my community and in my culture, there's an importance of having a village around you so that you solely as the mother or solely as, the mother and father duo are not the only ones that are actively involved in your children's life, especially if you're a woman that has a career. So I don't necessarily believe that women are, what's the title, prioritizing careers over marriage or vice versa, but
She dropped the mic.
Well, I'd like to speak on the topic if that's okay.
Absolutely, go ahead.
Yeah, so I honestly feel like for me personally, I've definitely put my career ahead of marriage and wanting to settle down. I think a lot of women have, like, that's why like birth rates have gone down. Um, and there's, less marriages. At the times just aren't, they're just different. I don't think society is being built for marriage as much anymore. Especially to last. That's why the divorce rates are, sky high. But I definitely still want marriage, to the right person. Um, I think it's gotten harder because now with social media, um, being as big as it is, we can see um, each other a lot more clearly now. And so it's made it easier for people to see who someone really is instead of learning along the journey of marriage. um, and because like we have more of a way out for relationships, I think a lot of people just don't want to rush to marriage, because yeah, I just like, at least for me, I know that the relationships I've been in were really toxic and a waste of time, and it wasn't because I picked the wrong person, because you really don't always know. um, it's just a matter of, I think society is like essentially raising people to be a little bit more self-absorbed and less about family. So it's not really built into our society anymore as much. So it's a little bit less desirable to get married, and I think women like myself want to be able to make sure that they have stable income and don't want to rely on a man that could potentially just leave you anyway for somebody else because they're bored. Because I mean, I watched this video um, with these women who are called trad wives, who, when they were younger, you know, they got into a relationship that had a huge gap where the man was a lot older, and the man was really wealthy, but as soon as, you know, she got older, he, you know, left her and left her with nothing. And they were talking about how they didn't have an education, they didn't have career, they didn't have a backup option, and they, you know, that they were regretting it, and that, you know, some of them were living out of their car with their kids, you know. So I think people are trying to create that backup option just in case. At least that's what I'm doing.
That's a good point. You said that basically you think that society is grooming us to be carnal and more surface level, and that's contributing to the family values and things like that.
You were in the matrix a little bit, but I got some of that. Yeah, I do think that's kind of where we're at. I think every generation has a goal, like, you know, the system has a goal for us. And um, I think because they focus on depopulation right now, the goal really isn't for us to be married and to have kids as much. Um, so they promote, you know, fuckery right now, you know. And that's why I think I've been noticing an influx of people who are in polyamorous relationships, who prefer that, especially since men have always had a wandering eye. I mean, women cheat too, but evolutionary wise, I think, you know, I think that there are plenty of men who appreciate and love monogamous relationships, but there's still a high amount of cheaters. And yeah, I think there's a lot of issues around these areas that, I mean, maybe a polyamorous lifestyle might fix for some people, you know, if they're upfront about what they want, what they can deal with, and maybe leave the non-cheaters alone, so they can get together. You know, I don't know.
Men have always had a wandering eye. Does that do you equate that with men having a lack of self-control?
Sorry, what was that?
You mentioned that men have always had a wandering eye. Do you equate that with men having a lack of self-control? Is that when you say that, is that what you're
Um,
implying or suggesting?
well, I think it's a combination of yes, but also I think it's normal. You know, I think it's normal to look, but I think that self-control, you know, is whether or not they're going to act on it. Um, I don't, you know, I can't say if men are really meant to be in a poly relationship or not. I really don't know. I can only go by ancient texts, Bible, and things like that. But I don't. I keep an
It
open
sounds like
mind to
you want
people
to
who are
say,
in those relationships, but I personally don't agree with it.
okay, that's what I was about to say. It just sounds like you were getting around to saying that you just don't agree with poly.
I personally don't, but
Okay.
I know that there are people who are, you know, for it. I agree with people who I think it's better for someone to be in that relationship as long as you're being honest, you know, with the person. Because there are plenty of women who don't mind being in that kind of relationship. And I think that is totally fine.
So let me ask you a question, because when you said poly, you used the word polyamorous, and there's different forms of poly. Everybody that's poly is not polyamorous.
Oh,
So
I don't know.
No, the question I was going to ask you was, are you against all forms of poly? Because there's a difference between a person who is polygynous, and there's a difference between a person who is polyamorous. So are you against all forms of poly?
Well, I'm
Or is it
saying I
just
don't know what the other forms are. I've only heard of polyamorous, so I'm not sure what the other. You'd have to
okay?
tell
All
me.
right. So polygyny is when a man has more than one wife. Okay, that's the difference between that's one difference between polyamorous, and that's like the biggest distinction. When a man has, so do you think that a man shouldn't have more than one wife?
Um, I think that if that's what you want, then and the women are okay with it, then sure.
Okay, I don't know if I'm getting a straight answer from you.
Well, it is a straight answer. I'm saying that if that's what someone wants for themselves, then yeah, they should have that. Like I just don't want it for myself, but I know that there are people who would benefit better from that kind of relationship. Just like, I believe in gay marriages. You know what I mean? I believe that it's the person's choice. It doesn't have to be my choice.
Okay.
But it's up to them. It's not my life.
All right. So
So
based on that submission, what I'm hearing from you now is that you're just against.
no, I'm
Uh,
not, it's
uh, uh,
not
Based on
against
that
anything.
submission of what you just said, it's not just polyamorous. You're just against men and women having more than one significant other. Period.
No, I'm
They're
not
gonna,
against
they're,
anything. That's what I'm trying to explain is what I'm saying is that I actually think it would be more beneficial for people who have wandering eyes to get into poly relationships. So I'm saying that
I
I
could have
think,
swore I heard you say you don't agree with it.
huh?
So
But
but
so
you
this
don't
is
agree.
what I was saying before, and this is what I'm saying now. I'm saying I personally don't subscribe to poly relationships for myself, but that does not mean I don't support it for other people. So, and that's kind of where I stand on it. Like
I
I'm
got
not a
that. I
ruler of
got
other
it.
people's relationships.
We understand that. We know that you're not the person that's putting people together and taking them apart. I was asking you personally, what is
And
your
I'm saying, and I said what I said. Like for me, it's
No,
just not
you
for
changed it.
me.
You changed it.
I didn't change it. You're just
The
not
replays is
listening.
on. The replays is on. You said that's what
The
I said.
replay is on, but you're just not listening to what I'm saying. I
All
don't
right,
agree with
let
it
me
for
be quiet.
myself.
Let me be quiet and let me listen to you. Go ahead, you got it.
So I mean, I really don't know. I think you're just looking for something for someone to be against. I'm just stating that for me, it's just not for me. But I have no problem with it being for someone else. I was saying the whole point of me saying it was because of people who have a wandering eye. They might and who act on it, they may benefit from that kind of relationship. That was like the whole point of what I was saying. So I think you just missed it.
Well, if I missed it
So
before, I got it
you
now. So I'm gonna move the mic around. I appreciate that, Jackie. I really appreciate your submission and your perspective. Anybody else want to take a stab at the title, or what was just echoed?
I guess I
well,
can. Oh, well, you got it,
go
Tony.
ahead, bro. Yeah.
Oh, okay. What I was listening to Jackie. What she said isn't unreasonable. We're talking about these United States. We do live in a very sexualized culture, so I don't really disagree with what she was saying as far as men having a wandering eye. We're kind of in this culture and in these United States, we're kind of taught to have a wandering eye. With the whole history of the feminist movement, my body, my choice, and women just being able to, just to socially be able to just show just a little bit more skin without any shame. So it's kind of hard not to have a wandering eye. Um, let's see. Is marriage a priority for I believe the careers are. The careers are because the number one thing that our African American women crave and need is security. And in this economy, the complaint has been that the men are not performing well enough. Well, the average man isn't performing well enough to provide that security. So my answer would be that they're prioritizing career first, then marriage. So I'll land right there.
Okay, appreciate your submission. My good brother, I would ask you, since you generalized men and you said that men have a wandering eye, um, so that's a general statement. You think that
Sir, it is.
all right. So I think you got different I don't think you should generalize men, and I don't think you should generalize women. I think you got men of God and you got men of the
I can
world.
barely hear you, sir.
Can you
Your
hear me?
mic is
Can you
very
hear me a
low.
little bit better? Can you hear me better now?
I'll listen hard.
I don't want you to struggle, my brother.
No, the volume is much better now. You got it.
All right. So I was going to say, I don't think that we should generalize women, and I don't think that we should generalize men. I think that you have men who are cardinal men, men of the world, and I think that you have spiritual men, men of God. And I don't think that you could say that a man of God would be in the same category as a cardinal man. So I just think it's different types of people, and based on who they are and
Mhm.
what they subscribe to, that's what they, that's what they do. I don't think a man of God is uh, uh, participating in
Right.
the same type of activity as a man who's a worldly man and looking to just uh, to to uh, to 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 please his flesh,
Mhm.
you know. So it's definitely two different things that's going on out here. So I don't
May I,
think we should generalize men, and men, I don't think women should be generalized as well.
may I respond? I will.
Yes.
I will respond with. So I believe. I believe you're taking the word, the phrase "wandering eye" to, and you're associating with a wandering eye to the action. Those are two totally different things. See, a man of God how is a man of God supposed to prove he's a man of God if he doesn't resist the temptation that is put in front of him? You see what I'm saying? So I believe it's a good general assessment to say that all men, even men of God, do have wandering eyes. But the sister Jackie, she said, if I misquote you, Jackie, correct me. You said that I believe you said that whether the man acts on it or not is on him.
Exactly. That's what I said.
Okay, got you. So I do believe it doesn't matter if you're married, you could be a man of God, you can go down the right path. You do have a wandering eye because at the end of the day, you're not a, I know a lot of people like to think they're above how they were created, but we are men. We're wired differently. I don't care if you were married 60 years, faithful, you're still going to look. Now, whether or not you act on that, that is your true test to determine if you're a man of God or not. That is your test to determine if you are who you say you are. I hope that me drawing a line between you looking and then you actually pursuing the desires of your flesh is established, and we don't misunderstand that.
Yeah, I think it's very clear between looking and touching. I mean, if you go into the store, we're taught that as a child. Look, we're gonna go into the grocery store, we're gonna go into the mall, and you know, you can look, but you don't touch. I'm telling you, what makes a man of God is that he has these things in order. We're not talking about touching or indulging. We're saying that there are certain principles that men of God subscribe to that worldly men just don't. A
I
worldly
agree.
man. So I'm saying that a worldly man or a worldly woman, a reckless eyeball, opposed to a man of God or man or a woman of God lowering their gaze. There's a clear distinction. If not, we would just put all of the, and this is what I'm saying, you can't generalize people. There are certain principles in and I'm not a religious person, but I'm a spiritual person. But there are certain principles and tenets in religion that is designed to develop the person who is on that spiritual path so that they won't indulge in these type of things.
Mhm.
A man of God is not going to even put himself in a position to where as though he's going to have the wandering eye. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So again, there is a clear distinction. You could say we are men, but there's different types of men. It's levels to this.
No, I understand you, right? And I agree with everything you're saying, but I wish it was just that one way where I had the power in my life, in my lifetime, to put myself in positions where I want to be. Because some of those positions is just gonna come to you. That's life. You see what I'm saying? Whether you're a man of God or not. So I don't disagree with you in a sense where, yeah, there are men who will lower their gaze, but why are you lowering your gaze, brother? It's because you or I will wander if you don't. That is the whole point. So again, look, I know we love to think that we are above our creation and our biological makeup. You're not, but that is why we have faith. That is why we have religion, to put the cardinal mind in check and do what is right to the people that we love and care about the most and be men of our word. That's all.
I love what you said, man. If I can point out a couple of things. So what I understand to be true is that we have um, different levels of influence, right? We got nature. So nature is influence, um, meaning the things that are natural. Then you have societal influences. Um, so those would be man-made constructs, and um, and those different areas can influence us, or manipulate us, or tempt us, whatever the word you want to use, to cause a reaction, right? So let's say in this example, we're talking about looking at a woman with sexual desire. What I understand the supernatural or the spiritual to be is to not depend on the physical and to look through a spiritual lens of sorts. How that would show up would be like when um, we see a tragic story on the news, right? And we would be like, I don't even know what they were thinking, because we don't have the mindset to think that way. The influences that we've been around haven't don't have that much power over us to force us to align with that train of thought. So what I do understand, and this is an important conversation, right? Because a lot of what we believe is defines what we're capable of. So we might not even know what we're capable of. In this example, I'm saying that I am now learning that I, as a man, am capable of not even looking at a woman with sexual intent. I am not. Look, I have never been monogamous in my life until the last couple of years. So what I'm saying is not because I'm trying to, have a difference of opinion. What I'm saying is to expose the fact that there are certain things that we're told is natural and that are always going to be the case. But then when I started operating in a different heart space, that changed my mentality and my mindset. So now I'm looking at a woman and I'm not even seeing that she's interested. I'm not even seeing that she's flirting. Okay, somebody just said she ain't have a bra on. I didn't even notice because I didn't even care because I'm not even looking at a woman that way. So I do understand that there are some things that we are naturally inclined to do, but I also understand that through our spirit, we can train our heart and release the things that triggers us in our heart to not even look at someone or look at the physical and be triggered that way. So I understand it, but I think it's a false teaching that men are always going to be like this. Women are always going to be like this. This is just how we are. Like, that's how we start off. But that for damn sure, that ain't how I'm finishing. So I appreciate the conversation because it allows me to expose what's really in our hearts. That's why we act like that. It's not natural. It's something in there that inclines us to do and pursue something in a certain with a certain method. And so we can let that go. But I mean, there's no need for us to really harp on it. I just wanted to kind of expose myself, like, and be vulnerable and say, look, I understand what society is telling us we are, but we're more than that. I understand the society is saying we gotta act and respond a certain way. We don't. It's actually really just an indication of what's in our heart, and we can change what's in our heart so that changes what we see and how we respond. But we can get back to the topic
And shout
if
out
you
to you,
want. If
King.
you want. If you want.
Shout out to you, King CJ. You are living proof to everything that you said. You know, you're right. We are more than that. You are living proof of that because you found enlightenment, and you've taken on a whole new discipline about yourself. So shout outs to you.
Nah, I appreciate you, Aunt. You know I do, man. You know I do, brother. And I think that's what comes when we have these type of conversations. Like we really want to get down to what's in our heart and why our heart is influencing us a certain way. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to career minded women, absentee fathers, all that kind of stuff, like the root of it is in our heart. Like why do we think that a career and financial security is really going to change the projection of our families? We're seeing the same results in spite of
Exactly.
having more financial income. We're seeing the same results because we're not getting down to what really the problem. I think you said it earlier, Cherry, it's like an overcorrection or something like that. Like that be the word. That be the word, man.
Yeah, it's like a band-aid because yeah, okay, you have money now, but you still don't know how to relate to people. You still don't know how to relate and have family. Like you still don't know. So that's you mastered this area of life. Now you need to go and master that area. And you can't be walking around with fear. Protect yourself, yes, but if your heart desires something, then you have to be honest about that and then do what's needed to receive it.
Say that one more time, Cherry. Do what's needed. Say it again.
Do what's needed to receive it,
There
whatever
you
your
go.
heart desires, because God give us desires so that we can grow as human beings. That's how I see it. So I don't lie about what I want. That's why I will tell a man what I need, not to, and I say it respectfully because I already know what I desire. Like the husband I get with, I'm gonna let him know straight up, baby, I want 4 gardens. I want a sensual garden, a fruit garden, a vegetable garden, and a herb garden. And if a man look at me and be like, that's too much, then he not the man for me and I gotta keep going. But a lot of women, what they do is that they make the career the end all be all. And then they feel like, well, I can never have a relationship or I can never have family or I'm gonna have to go to the sperm bake. But in their heart, that's not what they desire. So what end up happening, they end up getting those things because it's easier. You don't have to change nothing about yourself to get those things. And they still become unhappy and unfulfilled. Just like men. They want children. They don't want to put in the work to get children. They go and get a little girl and have a little baby mama. But you're still not fulfilled. It's the same thing. People want to skip steps.
Well, I agree to a certain point.
That's fine.
I think that, you can definitely um, change yourself for a career role as well. I think it's just a different kind of change. And
Yeah.
I also think that um, you can also find yourself not being fulfilled when you have marriage and kids as well. And that's something that a conversation I had with someone, how I noticed, that there's this theme where a lot of humans generally feel that there's something missing in their lives. And so they'll try to fill it with different things. It could be a career, it could be kids, a husband or a wife, this or that. So I think it really just depends. But I think what you're saying is right about, in general, not skipping important steps, regardless of whatever it is that you want, whether it's a career or marriage. But I definitely believe if life wasn't as hard as it's been for many of us, and if there wasn't such an agenda to, um, essentially depopulate the planet, I think that there would be a lot less stress and therefore a lot more happier marriages, because a lot of it does tie back to like financial problems. That's where a lot of relationships end up breaking down. So if we didn't have that worry, if the economy was a lot better and the system was a lot fairer, I think we would have a lot more happier situations in terms of marriages, careers. It wouldn't be that feeling of needing more and more and more until you're just not never satisfied.
That's
Mm,
just perspective of go ahead, Tony. Let me mute up. I want you to get your opportunities.
I was gonna say I don't think it's that at all. I think it's far more simpler than that. Like people, particularly women, are more obsessed with things and vanity versus all the other things. Ironically enough, because if it was that, uh, supposedly, you know, that the money and all these things was like the main issue, it would show up as number one. But money is usually second or third as to why like most people divorce, right? Like the first reason, like for quite like a bunch of decades now, has been irreconcilable differences. I think almost immediately after they introduced it, and the reasons are not usually like anything like substantial. Like it's usually something like frivolous, like we just we grew apart, we grew out of love, um you know lack of intimacy, um like a lot of things that if people want to generally fix, they could easily fix. And it's just basically that they're choosing not to fix it. So I don't really think that that really bears out, especially consider the fact that like when you look at like marriages that are most likely to last and not end in divorce, it's usually marriages where you have it that like it's more traditional. It's like more where men are in so the supposed role traditional, women are in their supposed role traditional. So I don't really buy that it's this whole thing of like, you know, the money issues and all
No,
that.
I,
Those
I
don't
agree
really
with that. I
bear
don't
out.
think that it's the first thing, but I do think it's a huge problem. I think the first thing honestly comes to it's commitment issues, and that kind of goes back to the one wandering eye and wanting to
But
have
that's not it either.
options. I mean, I'll look up the stats, I'll look at the statistics, but I mean,
I
I
think
think
it just go back to a lack of trust and respect for each other. I think that's what it be for real. A lot of people are in relationships where they don't trust or respect each other.
yeah, I mean, I think trust is an issue, but that kind of goes to infidelity, and because that like why is there a breakdown of trust? You have to kind of dig into that, and then that's like, okay, well, is
Hmm.
there infidelity happening, um, and why is there infidelity happening? Because maybe they don't like the full aspects of what commitment means. So,
I don't
and
even think infidelity be a big thing. Like I think it be just trust within each other. Like the man, she probably don't trust what he say because he don't keep his word. He probably don't trust her because she don't got no respect for herself. Like I think that be happening first before even infidelity even enter the picture. Because honestly, I don't know. Really, I don't really care. I'm not gonna say I don't care for men cheat on me because that's not what it is. It's just like who. Like the females out here are crazy. Like he ain't getting no better. I'm not trying to, but they not. I don't. How can I say this? I really don't care because when he go out there and see, he try and cheat on me. He see what's out there. He gonna be like, let me stay home. I ain't going out there. So I feel like
So
sometimes
this
women be so worried about like a man cheating. It's like, please.
Yeah,
this leads
I
to
think
my
so.
question, bro. I got this question. This is for the room. This is for the males and for the women inside the room. For the men, does body count matter? And for the women, does a man
Oh
have
boy.
and does a and for the women, does a man have to have or make a certain amount of money to maintain and sustain a relationship with you? So that's for the men. I want to know, do body count matter? And for the women, I want to know, does a man have to make a certain amount of money to maintain and sustain a relationship with you? Mike's open.
Well, I say for me, body count does not matter. I don't think you'll truly know somebody's body count. That's something someone could easily lie about. I think what people need to worry about is before you take on a sexual partner, you need to go down there and get tested together. And I think most men don't even care. I think men care more about reputation, right? Because as long as don't nobody know about this woman and her being freaky and whatever her body count is, they don't care. They'll go and they'll be with her. It really doesn't. I don't think it really matters to them. I think it's just some popular guy sit around and talk about, and all these guys miraculously, their wife is the virgin. You know, they found this diamond in the rough and stuff. I don't think most men, they'll pretend like they do, but I don't think they care.
Yeah, I care.
Who's that? Who's that? So they care. Tony.
Yeah.
Okay. Why is it that you? I appreciate first and foremost. I appreciate that diabolical. Tony, why do you feel as though that you care? Also, women, don't forget. I want to know: should this man make a certain amount of money in order for him to even consider having a relationship? Go ahead, Tony.
I care because it matters. I care because it affects your outlook on relationships, men, on life in general, so on and so forth. Like that's a large part of what might affect your marital happiness as well. Like this bears out even in statistics. So it's like I'm not going to ignore it because society is shifting in a way where niggas are wanting to accept whatever they get. So yeah, it definitely matters. Like in the same way that like it would matter if I had if I've done certain things sexually, if I've done certain things in my past, like it's all gonna matter. So like I don't know why I would now look at this thing and be like, no, this doesn't have all of a sudden matter.
Mine, I think too it will boil down to this. Like if we talking sports, would you pass the ball to somebody that's known to fumble the ball, right? The reason I don't think men care much about body count is because they encounter everything that men say they don't like. They encounter women that don't do those things, right? So there's plenty of women without a high body count. Men fumble it. They don't lock those women down and get married to them. Same with the guys that complain about weave and stuff like that. They get women with natural hair. They fumble that again and don't lock those women down. So
Wait,
that's what I'm saying. They chase the women and screw them and make them the high body count 304s that they don't want, and then turn around at the end of the day and say, "Hey, well, I don't like them." You have to like them.
yeah, hold on. I disagree, and I think you're hopping past a few different steps. Like you said they don't like them, but they keep running into them. How do they keep running into them if like they're not a normal thing? Like that doesn't make sense. Like there's no man generally that's going to tell you that he encounters like women with and firstly, it doesn't really even make sense to try to assert that if your belief is that men don't care. If you're saying men don't care, they generally aren't going around trying to figure out or sift out if women have high body counts or not. So for the most part, what I've gathered from that, from speaking to men as to why they generally don't care, is because they're well aware of the fact that like most women are coming pre-fucked. Most women are coming with a lot of experience. They've been, through the runner. The only kind of distinct times I hear that men care is, and that they're not afraid to voice, is that if the woman has slept with like somebody close to them, somebody that they know, or when it comes to like a virgin, because all of a sudden, supposedly they don't want to be the one to taint the woman. And then the last one, which is usually at the extreme, but they still kind of avoid like boisterous about it, is like a porn star or somebody into like sex work. Then they'll be like, nah, draw the line there. Interestingly enough.
I would have to lean more towards Tony Amon. Indirectly, it does matter, and it's pretty much everything that Tony said, because you having multiple partners does affect your ability to pair bond. It does affect how you treat me in the beginning, because as far as I'm concerned, look, if it's easy for me to hit you, I ain't about to think I'm just this special dude. No, you don't. This is a familiar pattern, and I don't think I need to be taking you serious. And that's pretty much it. That's why personally, me, I'm in a rush to look. If things are going good, I'm in a rush to introduce you to the family, the friends, see if they know you. You see what I'm saying? So indirectly, it does. Indirectly, it does. But yeah, just off the gate, I'm not like, when I'm not really harping on, like how many dudes you've been in the bed with or anything like that, because I'm gonna get a good idea anyway just by the interaction and just where your values lie anyway. Do you come from good stock? Like what's the relationship between you and your father and your mother, and that sort of thing. So and indirectly it does matter for me.
Okay, I want to get to the women about.
Yeah, I'd like to answer. So I think, well, first I wanted to comment on the body count thing. I think that that doesn't necessarily mean STDs. Like you could have like a girl with a body count that's like two dudes and she could have caught like HIV. So you just got to be careful no matter what. And I know that HIV is actually like rampant right now. So everybody be safe. But your question was about the financial aspect. If I expect a guy to have money, right? That was a question.
Question is, do you feel as though that men should have a certain amount of money
Mm-hmm.
to maintain in a state to maintain and sustain a relationship? And if they don't, should they even be trying to get involved with it?
No, I don't think so. I think that as long as they have a job and they know how to save, I think everybody has been in a tough situation. I try not to um, be so high maintenance. I'm realistic. I look at multiple lenses on how someone is responsible, because if we have children together, I need to know that they know how to save money and put it towards what matters. So I look at the whole totality of the financial situation, not just a specific number that they have in a bank, because yeah, especially in this economy, I'm a realist. But obviously, um, it's better for them to have as much as possible for themselves, for sharing a home together and having children together. But I also don't just rely on a man um, to pay my way, because that's just how I grew up and how I was raised. And I have my own situated. situated. So everyone's different though, you know.
I hope they circle back
Yeah,
because
he
I didn't agree
definitely
with
has to
what
be
Ant or Tony
financially
said.
stable, straight up. Like that's the prerequisite. You know, don't come over here talking about you broke, please. And as far as like, so yeah, definitely be good. You don't have to be perfect, but you have to be stable financially. There's not really a certain amount. Just have your ducks in order. Like have your things, have your
Yeah,
goals.
exactly.
Goals. Like, but I'm not. When it comes to finances, I am not easygoing with finances because I'm not like that with myself. So I'm not gonna be like that with another adult who we're trying to build a life together. Like I want to know how much you make. You can know how much I make. I want to like see what we working with. Like all that. And then as far as like the whole body count, yes, body count matters. It does. Because when a woman start having too much sex with too many different men, she have a negative mindset. She start thinking men gonna dog her out. She start like, so it's not just about just the act itself, it's what it does to her spirit and to her soul and to her femininity. She started having a negative mindset. So to life, it matters. And she have to clean all that up and be honest with herself. Be honest. All that sexual, all that, some women can do that. Big up to them. But if you know you get attached, sex is something that gets you attached, and don't go around here just doing it because that's how a lot of women end up mentally ill.
Sorry, I'd like to ask you a quick question,
Hey,
Amun.
I wanted to give a shout out to the ad libs in the background. That made everything that you said. I'm just joking.
I didn't
Sometimes
hear you.
I said I wanted to give a shout out to the ad libs in the background. You know what I mean?
Oh,
That just
thank you. They came free of charge.
Go ahead, Jackie. You got it.
So yeah, I just want to ask, sorry, did you say specifically when you said a guy needs to have, money, were you saying marriage per se or relationship period?
Period.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. So I
period.
just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, because I
So
like
just for
things. And
just
I like things and I like to enjoy. I like to
Oh no,
enjoy.
not you, honey. I meant Amun, like his original
Oh, okay,
question.
okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to understand what his original question, if it was specific like marriage, relationship period, because I do think that there is a
These people
difference.
are lost.
But
If you did
when you really
specify.
think about it, Jackie, like as a woman, I'm not wasting. Like if I have a relationship is a marriage, like I'm just gonna keep it real. Like I'm not wasting my time. Like if I'm gonna have a man near me, it has to be on that like that potential. I'm not about to
Well,
just
of course.
for me. I'm not about to just have men around me because I'm bored. Like, but that's just me. I'm
Well,
real.
who said that everyone wants a relationship because
Because like
they're bored?
sometimes women no, but sometimes women like they'll dissociate relationship from
Yeah.
marriage, but it's
Hmm.
the same. This man is still around you. This man can still affect your life. You know what I mean? So
No,
how
I
What's
totally
up?
get that. I
What's up,
totally get
Mr.
that.
yeah,
Marcus? Man, my
like
brother. My
any man
bad. I'm
around
just
me, like
now seeing that. My
yeah.
brother.
Especially because someone in the comment, they put that unfortunately people are marrying for love, not securing as they should, and that yeah. So I agree with that. I do think that if we look at marriage as a whole, like what it was represented for, it was for the purposes of a business. It was to maintain a household and to not just present yourself as people in love, but as a unit, as a force, as a stable uh, entity or a union. And I do think that when you're married or when you're approaching to be married, that there's far more responsibility. You're trying to get a state together at some point. So yeah, of course you're going to have some money in the bank when you're getting to that point. Obviously if you're just dating each other in like a less than a year relationship, I don't think that the requirements need to be met at that point, but I do think that it's important to get your ducks in a row, like you said, so that way when it does get to that point and you're ready to get married to each other, that you're both sorted, you're both good. And that way, if there's ever a downfall in one of your careers, because you get laid off, you have the other person as a backup. I think it's important for both people in today's world to bring something to the table. And honestly, there are more stay-at-home dads today because they get they're now getting like paternity rights. And I think that, that allows a woman to be able to also bring home some bacon. Um, and that's okay too. There are relationships like that that are okay with that, or where they'll kind of swap. I think as long as two people are in it for the right reasons and are actively putting their cards on the table and saying like, I'm going to contribute this way, that's what matters at the end of the day. And yeah, it's generally important to have
Oh my
some financial
God, she is
standing
long winded.
for both people. I think the onus isn't just on the man. I do think there is a responsibility for the woman too. It's just usually in traditional settings, the concept is, and I've heard this from men say that, I expect my woman to understand that my money is her money and her money is her money. And I respect that. I appreciate that. But like for me personally, um, I'm the kind of person who, in my relationships, like my money is also my man's money as well. As long as it's equal and we're both contributing to our own success. You know what I mean?
Jackie, can I ask one
Yeah.
question before you continue?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I just
Hey,
oh, go ahead.
no, I just want to shout out to the sisters dropping bombs today. I didn't even expect Jackie to even come like that and say that. I don't know why I didn't, but shout out to all the sisters. Shout out to Sherry. Shout out to Jackie. And shout out to the brothers. Shout out to you, Aunt, Tony, King CJ. Shout out to y'all. I appreciate that.
I
Go ahead.
just think sometimes when I'll let you go, Q.
Oh, fuck my question. It's all good. Go ahead, Sherry.
No, go.
No, because Jackie, like, she was cooking and shit. I hate to interrupt you, Jackie, but you just kept going like the
Or
energizer
yeah, I
bunny.
talk a lot. Don't.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Is anybody in here married, man or woman? That was my question. That's it. I want to know if anybody is in here is actually married.
I've been married.
No.
I'm married currently right now.
I'm
Currently
divorced.
divorced. Okay. One person. Two people with experience. Okay.
All right.
Cool.
No, I
That's
was
all.
in a 10-year relationship that felt like a marriage and a divorce, but that
I
was as
think
close
I
as I got.
Yeah.
I
I
think
like to
we're
go after whoever,
Hey, let me
but
just
I do have
let
a
me just,
opposing opinion.
let me just say one thing. Hey, I'm stir the pot, y'all. We gonna have some fun. Hey, don't be afraid, brothers and sisters, to shoot your shot. Let's go.
I'll go after whoever. I have an opposing
and
opinion about everything that
and
was said.
and you go.
Oh, you go ahead too.
I mean, I understand, much respect to all the, Jackie and the women who come from that line of thinking. Me personally, with all due respect, there's nothing that you can do for me or with me financially I haven't already done for myself as a man. So financially, I really don't need your help. I just need you to come up in the castle that I already built for myself, and I need you to come up in here and make it homey. Make it homey for me, you, and the kids we will, and the family we will eventually have. I don't have a interior design bone in my body. If it was up to me, everything would be pitch white. I need you to come. I need you to come. I need you to come make my home
I love
home.
that.
So, yeah, I mean, look, hey, look, shout out to you. You good job. Hardworking woman. You take care of yourself. You pay your own bills. That's good. That's nice. But I really don't need it. I already did it for myself. I don't need help. I don't. I'm not about to come into your life, give you a hammer and nail, and ask you to help me build. That don't sound relaxing to me.
Ooh.
I think that's fair.
So
I like that. I
yeah,
appreciate that.
so that's just my opinion on it. And that's just and no disrespect to any relationship dynamic that that do the 50-50 thing. That's just a standard that I have for myself and the men that who brought me up. They taught me as a man, you take care of your business, make sure the people you love and care about the most ain't got to worry about a thing in the world. Because
I think that's
my
awesome.
and and the way I see it, look, everybody want to be the king until they get that invoice. So y'all got it.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I mean, I think more women would want that if they were presented with that opportunity. And I like, at least with my experience, you don't find a lot of men like that in um, today's society, because I think they feel like most women are uh, um, portrays most women, and everyone wanting to be a baddie and looking the same, getting a BBL. Like, this is the standard that we men are kind of faced with, and women are um, you know harming themselves to fit this role in this standard. So they rely on their bodies to get their own bread. They don't. They usually kind of see things with a different lens, where they're like, well, a man's not gonna commit and be serious anyway. So I think if there were more men like you,
There's a lot of men
that
like him.
didn't hide, is what I
What?
mean,
They're
because
not
there's a lot.
hiding. There's a lot
Well,
of
what I mean is from my experience, what I see is that there are a lot of men who are scared to be in a situation where their everything that they worked for is taken, because of a small percentage of women um, that take
Small
advantage.
percentage of
I'm
women?
saying that
But
take advantage.
Jackie, let's be honest. A lot of women don't feel worthy of that. Let's
Well, of
really
course
get
they
down to
don't, but
the
that's
let's
not what
get
I'm
down
saying.
let's get down to the nitty gritty. Okay.
Of
Because
course they
there
don't.
are many of men like ants. I meet them all the
Right, but
time. Like let me
they're not good. But I said the
and
word presented.
so no, women don't choose it. Women sabotage
You
it.
said women
Women,
don't.
let me tell you, women sabotage it. They make excuses. They don't make excuses for the men who want to barely bring in 2020 and 30. The men like Ant who actually want to provide, that's too good to be true, and they don't feel deserving of that, because when they be like, well, I don't need your money, what else can you bring? They don't know what else they can bring. You get what I'm saying?
Kind of, but I
That's really
mean,
what it is, because when you know who you are as a woman, the your money, that's just extra, because you know what you bring outside of that, and a lot of women don't know
in
what
a
they bring.
perfect world,
All they know is money and pussy. That's all they know. They don't know
who?
anything else.
What people are you hanging out with?
The average woman. I'm talking about the average woman. If it's not you, it's not you. I'm just speaking from what I see.
I
They don't
mean,
feel like they're deserving of providers. So what they do is they'll deal with men who are not providers and then complain about it, and then that's what they get. Like that's what you
yeah,
see, because there are
I have
many
to disagree.
well, from my perspective, there are many providers. There are a lot of
Okay,
women who
so
sabotage those type of relationships because they don't feel worthy of it.
I think there's plenty
so
of sabotage on both sides for a lot of
Right, but
different
we're talking
reasons,
about women.
oh
but I
boy.
Talk about
don't
the
think
women.
that's where the problem lies. I've had a lot of conversation with different women and different men, and I do genuinely believe that um, a relationship that is based in equality or just respect isn't always one promoted, and that's a whole other topic when it comes to what people are seeing today in Hollywood, and just the toxicity of relationships and what you give to each other. But I think that it's not necessarily women are all the average woman doesn't feel deserving of it. I think that if anything, I've seen the opposite. I've seen a lot of women feel that they deserve better and more because the standards that they've set have been so high. And that kind of goes to the everyone's trying to be a baddie and thinks their shit doesn't stink. That's what I see today in the average woman. And I think a lot of men that I've come across have been they've been done dirty. And that's why you see a lot of murders today, which is really terrifying. But you have a lot of people who end up killing their wives because they don't want to end up losing their money, everything that they worked hard for, because if it's not because of infidelity, it's because they didn't want to have to pay their part in a divorce. So I think it's a lot more complex than what you're saying, Cherry.
There's definitely different nuances to it, but what it boils down to with women, I'm just speaking on women, what it boils down to is that they don't feel worthy of that.
I
When
don't
you
know.
ask them, how do you feel about a man, being a provider? They always bring up money. Well, I got my own money. Okay, that wasn't the question. They ask you, how do you feel about a man being a provider? And what can you bring outside of your money? Then that's when they don't know what they can bring outside of their money.
I think what you're
That's all
talking
I'm
about
saying.
is the women specifically that maybe don't care to be stay-at-home
No,
wives.
I'm just speaking on the
From the
average woman.
context,
No, I can speak on what I think I'm talking about.
of course, you have
Just
your
like you can speak
opinion.
on what you think you're
Yeah,
talking
you have
about.
your opinion. I
Yeah,
have no
I have my
problem. I'm just
opinion. So
responding.
I don't need
And
you to tell me what you
well,
think
I
I'm talking
didn't
about.
tell you anything. I'm saying that I think this, you think that, and that's
Right.
totally
So when
fine.
I speak on
We
what
can
I
we can
think,
agree to disagree.
right.
It's
So
totally fine,
let
honey.
me finish what I'm saying. When I say what I'm thinking, let me say what I'm thinking, and then you can
Ditto.
respond. Like, you don't have to tell me what I'm thinking about.
I
I know what
don't.
I'm
I
talking.
never told you
I
what you
know
were
what I'm
thinking
talking
about.
about.
I think
You
y'all
just
have
don't
to
have to
agree that
agree.
there are different people in the
Thank
world,
you.
and there's never going to be one singular answer that's going to fix everybody. What I've noticed in these conversations is nobody has any balance. I don't know if anybody's looking at the numbers or looking at anything. Majority of people that run a household in the country of the United States, most of people in here might be talking from, both people work. They both contribute to the household to build the family that they love and that they care about. People always going back and forth. We married for love or married for stability. People are marrying for both. I could give a woman. There's plenty of men like Ant, but guess what? You don't like them. You don't love them. You ain't attracted to them. Right. So what's good on paper ain't good enough for you. I can give you a guy that is handsome. He's attractive and he's loving, but maybe he don't pay all the bills and you're a woman that don't want to do 50-50. Then you see what I'm saying? So people want a balance. You want somebody that you love, you're attracted to, that you have some good sex with, right? But then you also want to be able to depend on them. You want them to be financially stable and literate. You don't want them to be somebody that overspends all the money. You want somebody loyal, someone that listens to you. So you want everything. But in these conversations, people keep trying to, they just want this thing, or they just want that thing, or they just want this thing. It's not true. People want a bunch of things when they're in a relationship. And that's what makes having a marriage so hard, because it's hard to find somebody that embodies everything that you want, that you can be compatible with to last the next 10 to 15, 20, 30, 40 years, or however long, that you think you're going to live. That just makes it so hard. I think the conversation just kind of lacks balance, and considering the fact that there are just different people that walk the world, and that maybe there's not all these bad people or these whorish women, but perhaps there's not all these bad wandering eye men. Maybe there's just people that you're not compatible with, and they're not bad people at all, and you just need to find balance in your life.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I want to
Yeah.
bring something into the conversation, right? Because I've heard throughout the conversation, we explore what it looks like dating, and then we examine what it looks like being married. My thing is this: do you start implementing the things that you would do in a marriage when you're seriously in a relationship, not married yet, or do you wait until you get married to start exercising these things? Because I think another thing is, like, sometimes, um, and I don't want to put it on the women or the men, but I think that sometimes I'm going to throw it at the women because I know they're going to scratch me up for saying this, but we gotta have these tough conversations. I think sometimes women say, well, we're not married, but you're doing everything that you would do as if you were in a marriage. But when it comes to something that you don't want to do, you say, because we're not married, I'm not doing that. So I'm like, should we, once you get to a certain level within that relationship, should you like start practicing for when you officiate that relationship and make it the ultimate commitment as a marriage, or should there be some things that's just off limits um, if you're not married? And now be mindful, because this is a landmine right here. If you say there's some things that's off limits, I'm going to say, well, are you having sex? I'm just going to let you know in advance. Are you having sex with this person? Because to me, that's a major thing. You're having sex with this person, and I love for you to come up here, Ancient. But yeah, so I like for y'all to open up on this, chime in on this.
Let me
Yeah,
just get in, because Jackie, you got the mic all day,
No, go
every
ahead. Go ahead.
day.
Go ahead, honey.
All right. So I just want to say, when a person feels like doing whatever they want to do or whatever they're not going to do, regardless of any type, that's when it's time. When the person wants to. The hell with the paper, the relationship, or anything. When the person's ready, that is the time. Whatever they choose or choose not to do. Period.
Did I understand? Are you saying that it don't matter if you're doing, if you're having sex and doing things that really married people should do? If you don't want to do it, like, because I think that when you become married, certain things are obligatory and they're less negotiable. So I think that when you're in a relationship, that's on that level to where you're about to get married, I think you need to start implementing those things. Don't wait until you get married. You need to see how it actually looks like before you cross that threshold, especially if you're already having sex.
If it has an exit, it don't really matter. Ain't like you locked in for life. If you ain't get what you want, leave it. So nobody don't have to be everything that you want it to be, and there's no one's going to be 100%. So I don't think no one has to go through a marriage trial period before you say, if you can't see the core of a person before you sign the paper, if they have to go on this whole audition, fuck it, just stay single.
Dating or audition though, like, what is the purpose of dating? Is that an audition or what? What is that?
The reason for dating is to the individual. Most people don't know why they're dating. Most people don't even know what to do with the opposite sex outside the bedroom. So everything is within the two individuals. That's what biological is trying to tell you. There is no one that puzzle for this love bullshit. It's just an emotion. It's not logic. It's not fact. So it just goes with the flow of two people. And if a man is fully established, like maybe he's not having as much requirements. A man who is not as established. And by the way, I got a question. Would you get with a woman who already has a castle? Aunt, are you there?
Yeah, that's a good question, Big Aunt. She said, would you get with somebody that already has their own establishment and take over? Maintain what you got and take over that situation as well. And we need to hear from you, good brother.
I'll catch him when he comes back. And another thing I went through, and he said about this eye wandering. And I picked up my nephew from high school, and all the girls were naked. They have no dress code. And I was like shocked. And he was so like, well, I see tits and ass every day. So maybe for this older generation tits and ass is new. For this younger generation, it is not that serious. It's everywhere. It's like overkill. It was only good when you had to sneak. But now it's all over the place. It's kind of like redundant. What's the big deal? You see tits and ass every day.
Yeah, back in the day, they was excited to see some ankles. You know what I'm saying? So
Not
it's the
the
same,
ankle.
it's the same thing now. I agree with you definitely. I don't think most people have a plan when they go out there and dating. But Amun, I do like what you said, and my sister has something that she always says. She'll ask a woman, um, what's the last guy you gave your social security number to? What's the last guy you gave your bank account information to? Who's the last guy you gave your debit card? And most women say, I ain't gave none of my information to these men. And she'll say, but you had sex with them. So you gave them your body. You gave them the most important thing that you got, your body, your
Good
time,
point.
and everything else. You see what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
I do like what you said. But to be realistic, because we do live in a world where people are sexually active, um, I would say this. I would say that when searching for a husband or a wife, I think that the person should already kind of be living in that identity of what you would want to see in a marriage, right? So I don't think people quit anything just cold turkey. So if you don't want to be with somebody that clubs all the time, you probably shouldn't get with somebody that clubs all the time. They should already kind of be living that life that you want for yourself in a relationship with reasoning, right? Because there's gonna be some things that you stop doing once you're no longer single. Now, as far as when you should start doing certain things before marriage, I don't think you should do anything that would be permanent or keep somebody in your life that is temporary. Like so things like having kids, big money investments. I absolutely disagree with moving in with people before marriage. Things of that nature is what I would say.
Can I comment on that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so I agree with everything that you said, and I do think that if you're able to share your body and you've been and it's well, I mean at the end of the day it is your choice, but if you're able to share your body and you're in a role where you're essentially like training yourself and your relationship to get to that next step in matrimony, I do think that you should be able to share those things with your partner. I think there was this relationship I was in, the 10-year one, with this man I met when I was in New Zealand, and we moved to Australia together, and there was this one time we were in his car and I got the worst Charlie horse ever in my foot, and we were on our way to the ATM, and I couldn't go. Like I was like, I cannot get out of this car right now. So I just gave him my card, and I'm like, here's the pin. Go ahead. Like he kind of looked surprised because he's not used to women just kind of being so free with that. But we had been together for a little bit anyway, and I trusted him, and felt safe. I think when you could trust someone enough with your income, with your body, I don't think it's unreasonable to be able to share those things with each other.
My father said a man knows if he wants you after 2 years max. 10 years, 10 years, you only get married.
Well, that was my choice, honey. So I didn't want to get married.
Did he want to get married?
He did. And the relationship was, a lot of it was long distance because I had moved and I had traveled a lot, and I was in my 20s, so I was like, I also wasn't interested in dating anyone else, so I kind of stayed in the relationship longer than I had wanted, because I didn't want to, I wasn't interested in, like, we were so close, like best friend relationship, that I just wasn't really wanting to date out. And I stayed in it until I couldn't anymore because of a lot of unhealthy dynamics in the relationship. But
Well,
for
how is
me, it
he
was just
doing?
about comfort, huh?
How
Well,
is
we
he
don't want to get
doing?
into the personal
Yeah, we don't have to go
conversations in
into
the
all
group.
the details of
Like,
the
so
relationship, but
yeah,
the
let's
fact
not.
is that it was my choice. And it was a one-time experience that I told myself I wouldn't repeat, but I was choosing comfort over full security, because at the time I was also getting my master's degree, which I've since completed. And it was just, and I was also dealing with chronic illness. So
We
there was a
cannot get
whole lot of
personal.
layers.
We got it. We got it.
Okay, well, you asked, so.
I know, but he just said
feels-
King said not, so I just already.
Hold on, let me say something though, right? And I appreciate CJ coming in because that's how we protect our women. But if she feels that she wants to share this information, let her share the information. But I appreciate CJ coming in and protect because we do got to protect our women by all means. I will say this, right? Some people look at marriage as just like a piece of paper. Some people look at it as a spiritual covenant and a spiritual union. And I think when we have this type of conversation, we have to look at it how people really look at marriage. Because some men might say, "Hey, it's just a piece of paper. It don't really mean anything." And then some men might say, "Look, this is a covenant. This is like the title says. This is fulfilling my purpose." Like Baghdadi said, part of his religion is being married. So I think it's the morals and the values that constitute the relationship. And we have to have these things established. And I just wanted to say this one point. I don't know who it was, but they were saying that that their father said that a man should know within a certain amount of years. Well, I should say within the first 2 years or 3 years, he saw some things that made him have some reservation about making that full commitment. So he wants to date a little bit more or try to work these things out. And instead of jumping into the marriage and just throwing the baby away with the bathwater, let's see if we can perfect this thing. Because if you get into the marriage and you make this commitment and some of these things are non-negotiable, you kind of set yourself up for divorce. So some things take a little bit more time. I know somebody said I wouldn't recommend or suggest the person, but some people say, hey, you don't really know a person until you start living with them. I kind of, we got to give and take, but at the end of the day, we got to look at what this marriage thing really looks like. Is it a godly thing? Is it a thing to establish security, like the poll was saying? What are we actually? Go ahead, I am. You seem like you had something that you want to say.
But if it's non-negotiables, should they even be dating?
Not even. And yeah, she definitely came with something strong, but you might not find that out until like I said, the second year. Like you might experiences with your partner in a relationship. You like, damn, I ain't see this in the beginning. Second year in, get a little comfortable, and then you start seeing the monsters come out. You see,
Monsters.
yeah, that monster come out. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know if I want to be married to this monster now.
Oh, but Amon, the reason I said what I said was because they actually have studies behind it that people that live together before marriage it increases your chance for divorce. So that's why I was saying I think a lot of people think that what I find is people are trying to find, and I understand it completely as a human. People think that there's some way, something I can do to stop from being hurt. Because I understand like matters of the heart is serious. You know what I'm saying? So people think, well, if I live with somebody and if I stay with them this long, then I know enough. And then I get married and then I won't be hurt and I won't get my heart broke again. And when you're at studies and stuff, it just don't work that way.
So basically,
We just have to be more honest with people and telling people what marriage really is. Marriage is a commitment. That's what it is. You commit. to almost damn near anything. You got people that have arranged marriages and they commit. They might not be happy. It can be loveless. Marriage can be lonely. You might get your heart broken. Some people don't even love each other anymore. They got separate rooms, separate lives. Now they roommates. It's all of
Exactly.
that. It's all of that. But that's the part we don't want to tell people. We got this fairy tale story that we want people to, this is what it should be. This is what it looks like. And you talk to people that's been married a long time. Yeah, sometimes you look over and you just like, I don't like him today. I still love him. They grow on you, then you grow apart. And that's the truth of it. There's no right or wrong. But when you ask what the concept of marriage is, it's this commitment, whether it's spiritual, legal wise, that's what it is. I'm going to stay with this person. I'm going to do life with this person. I'm going to share my life with that person. Through the highs, the lows, the downs, all those people who get on front of the pastor and start lying, till death do us part, for better or worse, richer or poor. You know, when people get poor, they really want to leave. Through sickness and health, when somebody gets sick, they really want to leave. Like, you got all these tests in just generic vows that people make to each other. And they make the vows, if you think about it, spiritually in front of God, secondarily in front of their families, both of them. You make a promise, an oath, and vow to your pastor, to all these people around you, that this is what I'm going to do. And we know what the results are. It's 50-50. You can get divorced, you can get married. So I'll end there. There's no right or wrong. And oh shoot, I didn't even answer the question. Let me make this quick because I've been long-winded. Is marriage a priority for African American women or careers? I think careers is spelled wrong, but I'm gonna say it's a priority to any woman, just like it's always been to any man. You want to make sure you're secure. Marriage is 50-50. Don't kill my skill set. I need to be out there working, building just like you. There is no this is better or my career means more than my marriage or anything like that. No, you gonna go to work because you got bills to pay, right? It's not a gender thing. You got bills to pay. You got a family to support. That woman too. I land.
But is it
Me
actually
double back
genetic?
on that.
Don't
That
people
go
don't,
ahead, Merk. You got it. You got
don't
it. Go ahead.
people live longer? Don't they have earn more money? Don't they children aren't the children safer? Aren't there positive things that come along with marriage that you don't get as single? And don't don't you get up? Don't you when you're by yourself? Don't you get angry with the other 30 people that you slept with? Right? If if you don't get married, you're gonna have a bunch of partners that you ain't gonna like. Right? Someday you're gonna wake up. You're gonna go through the same exact things that you would go through with one person. You're just gonna go through it with 30 people instead of just one. And the difference is that when you get sick, they not fucking with you, right? Because you talk, you know, you say like the other person is gonna get sick. Nah, what if it's your ass that gets sick, right?
And you both get sick, and that's
So
life.
so
Yeah, that's
right.
the
So I
difference.
hold on. So the agreement is that we're gonna take care of each other. We're gonna stand in the paint. We're gonna go through these difficulties with one another, right? When the child die, you know, we're gonna still stay together. When your mama die, you know, you can lean on me. When you know, when you fall and break your leg, it ain't over for you because you got me. You know, when you need some advice, you're going through something, I'm here for you. Need somebody to watch your back, I'm here for you. There's a trillion different positive things that come along with that. I don't, and everybody know it, right? Because that's the reason why you went through those 30 people, because those 30 people betrayed you, right? But if you would have married, chances were that it wouldn't happen like that. So you went through 30 different people anyway, right? You woke up and he was ugly. You woke up and her breath was thick. It don't matter. You're gonna go through the same things. The difference is, man, that you can go through it with somebody that you're committed to, right? That's committed to you, right? That's a real thing, right? This is the reason why, and it's not just it's not just in a romantic relationship. Commitment. The people who are committed are the ones who run this world, right? The people who are committed, you actually go to work every day for somebody who was committed to a business, and you wasn't. You was committed to working for them, right? It's a difference. So, yeah, I think, man, that the typical everyday person, they fail in relationships. Most of us fail in relationships more than we're successful. That's the reason why we got so many exes, because we ain't good at it, right? And it's not just, it's just, you know, whatever.
Yeah,
But my question to you, Merk, though, because I asked this earlier, I don't know if you. So my thing is, what if you start seeing something within the first 2 years that makes you say, hey, you know what? Before I jump into this lifelong commitment, she's a little selfish. He's a little self-centered. I don't know. I like him, but I don't know if I can live with that to death do us part. She's a little bit selfish, so that means that if uh we do fall on hard times, she's going to save her coins, not or the coins that she has saved is not so that we can rebuild our foundation or repair what might have been impaired. It could be a pandemic, it could be anything. So like, should like is it okay to say that we should be doing things while dating if you're serious and you're on that path to get married? Should you be doing the same things that you would be doing in a marriage, or should you be waiting to get married to say, "Hey, I'm in it now, so I just got to deal with it"? Which one? How should we? What's the navigation for that?
So if you dating, bro, you know, dating what is the goal of dating, bro? Nobody ain't figured that shit out. Y'all been in 10 rooms and asked the same question. Nobody got an answer. What is the goal? If you courting and you looking to get married, right? It's easier to understand. That shit is easy. But when you're dating, what the fuck is the goal of dating, bro? It's entertainment, right? It's
There's no
Yeah,
long-term
I
goal.
believe
entertainment.
I, be,
It's,
I,
lo-
be, I believe you should just operate as if you're married to begin with. That's just my philosophy. All that waiting and wasting time, wasting other people's time. That ain't I like
Yeah, I agree.
right off the gate. You know what I'm saying? Look, I mean, first date, we holding hands, we getting comfortable. You know what I'm saying? We might not be in the bedroom comfortable because, but we acting as if, yeah, like this gonna be a thing. And then, we having conversations and everything. That's because now you both you're approaching it in good faith anyway. That's just my philosophy. That's just my opinion.
I think you're right, bro. But the problem is that in dating, some people, bro, I mean, I'm sure you've had plenty of relationships, bro. Not everybody, everybody not looking for marriage. Some people, they need something to do, bro. They like it don't have a goal. We're not trying each other out to see whether or not we're marriage material. We just want to have fun with each other. And you are, matter of fact, sometimes, bro. I mean, I've heard women think that I was going to be their entertainment, and
Right.
when they got bored, that was the end of the goddamn relationship because we
Right.
wasn't moving towards marriage. We was just trying each other out.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's the great point, Mark. I don't think like-minded people are dating, right? I think people that are attracted to each other are dating. I think people that want something from each other are dating. I don't think enough like-minded people are dating. So you brought up some people just dating for entertainment. When I was single, I know I went through a season where I was dating because I was bored, or I seen somebody that I was attracted to while I was out with my cousin or with my friends, and she looked good to me, so I hollered at her, got a number. I wasn't necessarily thinking about marrying her. I just knew she was cute, or um, I just wanted to go out of the country with somebody. I didn't necessarily want to get married to her, but then I did hit a season in my life where any woman that I'm interacting with, um, I want to see, can this woman be my girlfriend? Because the intention, and I know girlfriend, boyfriend sound kind of juvenile, but I'm just being honest. The intention was commitment at some point, but you had to be in a relationship um, for a period of time so we could, I hate to say try each other out, but
there are some things that we need to talk about, that we need to go through before I can actually go spend all this money on a ring and then, get my family involved before we talking about marriage. And I had a daughter during that time, right? I think that's a factor that people leave out, is a lot of people are dating and they already are connected to another individual because they're co-parenting, right? So you can't just hold hands with everybody that you're going on a date with, especially when you got a child or 2 or 3 kids. Like that's gonna take time to get to know them, because this is the person that's now gonna be or potentially live with your children. So I think all of that has to be taken into consideration.
See, Justin, I'm gonna share something with you, and I'm gonna share it briefly. It was an experience of mine that made me it kind of lit like a light bulb in my brain, and it helped me realize that dating was a waste of time. I was with this sister for like a good minute. I would say for maybe about 4 months. Like, we were so into each other, talking every night, all the feel good stuff, right? Like, never really faced any adversity, right? It was just all good, right? Good conversation, good sex, of course. And one night she was over, and you know, she spent a few nights over at my place. I had every intentions on really, like, yeah, like, I'm thinking, man, like, this somebody I could see myself with for sure. So she says, like, she just said something, like, she was like, oh, I'm hungry. I say, I'm hungry too, babe. Look, fix us something to eat. It's like 4, 5 months in. And she go, oh, you want me to serve you? Oh, you gotta put a ring on it for me to serve you. I said, but I ain't had to put a ring on you for you to serve me that ass. Are you serious right now? So which
Hey,
one is
yo.
so which one
Hey,
is more important? Which one is more important? The act of you making me something to eat, or you just bending it over backwards, throwing it back on me? So what's really more important? What you really value? I looked at
listen,
her,
man.
like, in that moment, I looked at her, I'm like, if I had a daughter, I would not want her to be like you. I would not want her to be ass backwards thinking like that. And from that point forward, the previous 5 months that we had didn't even matter. I was turned off just looking at her.
Hey, Ant, you cooking, Ant. I don't, I
Oh,
don't even, I don't even know why you just did that example, man. But see, this is where the whole men are from Mars, women are from Venus mindset comes from, because I'm sure there's a lot of, yo, that was crazy. Go ahead, and I didn't mean to interrupt you.
no, it's cool. I just want to, let him know, like, I don't like all this trying each other out. No, like, I'm trying to get to know you as soon as possible. In order to do that, we have to spend as much time as we can with one another. I'm getting to know one another, because had I married her, you know what I'm saying, and that, like, if the further along we went, like that, I knew that would have been a big deal for me. You know what I'm saying? Like
She
that,
would
that
have
right there,
cooked.
like that.
Maybe she
That's
would have cooked, Aunt, if you married her.
nah. I just don't like her line of thinking. Like, you're not about to teach my daughter that it's okay for her to put the act of cooking above her giving her body up for
Right.
a man to, just to go in. Like, nah, that. Mm-mm.
So what
Yeah.
about women just holding back? Like, what about if women start to, what do y'all think about the dynamic if women just don't have sex and y'all just get to know each other outside of sex before marriage?
I mean, like, to be honest, it'll never happen. So
Well, no, well, it can
like it'll never,
happen, but
but
it's not
no,
that hard.
it'll never, ever, ever, ever happen. You know,
What I'm asking is, what do y'all think about it, not if it'll happen or not?
no,
Yeah,
I understand the
people
question.
do it though. I don't know why
I
y'all act
understand the
like that.
question.
That's not women that don't
I
do it.
understand the question, but the reason I responded that way, is because of the understanding of what the actual problem is. The problem isn't necessarily whether women are holding back on sex. The problem is the character in the first place. The
Right. So
character,
just take the time to get to know them, right?
right? Well, regardless of all that, so the root cause of all these things, I go back to the mindset, right? So society is already orchestrated to implement in our personal life certain behavior patterns. So whether it's sex, it'll be spending habits. Whether it's spending habits, it'll be um, operating operating with bad intentions. Whether it's operating with bad intentions, it'll be something else and something else and something else and something else. The issue is that we're not addressing the issues that society is putting in our hearts. We all talk about it. Oh, society makes us this way. Society makes us that way. Society makes us, but we don't actually have a process to fix it. Like we don't
I
really
think
go
that would
down a
help though, because if you just get to know someone and take sex off the table and
and take
actually
sex
just
off
get
the
to know
table.
them, yeah,
Right. But the
and just
issue with that is
mhm.
there's so many other women that's still having sex.
Yeah, but we're not talking about them. We talking about if two people want the same thing, then who cares about other women having sex like that? They'll obviously. So, are you saying that men are going to choose women who are having sex over the ones who want to wait or want to take their time? Because if that's what
So
you're saying, then that shows that men don't really want or value marriage. You just want the sex, and you don't really value the character. No.
It's not going to be all men, right? But I think what he's talking, I think that it's a marketplace. We reduced it down to a marketplace, and people are competing. There are other women competing for the man that you like, right? If you like him, guarantee somebody else like him, right? And vice versa. But I think that there are men who will wait, and there are women who will wait, and they probably both are worth waiting for. But I do think that it's it's very interesting because somebody's going to try to give him what he looking for.
Yeah.
Right. But if he care enough, you know, that's the
I
right
mean,
one for him.
because a woman giving a man sex does nothing. Like, okay, like she gave him sex. Okay, like what? Her mindset still can be fucked up. Like that don't just because someone else is giving a man sex don't mean I gotta do it. She that's what she want to do. That's what there's nothing else there. There's no substance. So if that's what she want to do, then
You
hey,
okay with,
do the dirty work. But
so you
if we talking about actually having a real relationship, then yes, sex is a part of it, but sex isn't the end all be all. So we should build on what's most important to have healthy relationships.
right, but sex is the end all be all.
For
Okay,
who?
so if sex is the
Lord
end
have
all
mercy.
be
That's
all, then you're
crazy.
getting, and that's what I said. That's why I asked, do you care about relationships and marriage and character, or do you care about sex? So if sex is the end all be all, then you're gonna get that's what it is. Don't expect anything
Yeah, I
else.
think people
Right,
need
but
to start making more I statements and say sex is the end of all. Sex is the end of all for me. Because for some people, money is the end of all. For others, your spiritual relationship with God is the end of all. So there's different things that is the deal breaker for different people. And black people, men, women are not a monolith. But I don't know if it's a cultural thing to what Ant's point, right? I don't know if it's a cultural thing where black or if it's a class thing or if it's a education thing. I don't know what it is where some women feel like uh I'm less of a woman if I cook for him and he's not my husband, but they don't feel the same way when it comes to sex. That is something that women got to have a meeting. All of y'all got to get together, right? The women caucus meeting, and y'all got to really somebody need to take the minutes and y'all need to really discuss why do we feel that
we're giving too much of ourselves by cooking the men that we're dealing with a meal, but we don't feel that we're doing too much by putting they whole penis in y'all mouth. Like
Exactly.
I don't understand that mindset, but the only thing that makes sense for me in that regard is that women want to have sex also, right? That would be the only thing that makes sense is, well, women feel that it's an even exchange. I'm giving you something, you giving me something. But and I land with this, the only problem with that perspective is when I hear women, right? Cousins, friends, I mean, I don't really have, female friends now, but I did. Um, they use the language of they're giving a man sex, right? I mean, okay, where he giving you peen. So if y'all feel like it's a fair exchange, you gotta keep your foot on that gas then and don't switch it up when it's convenient. You know what I'm saying? But y'all really gotta stop this whole, if you wash some clothes, if you clean up his crib, if you do something that's considered domesticated, that you're lowering your standards, but then y'all sleeping with dudes like raw and having kids with them, and they ain't even told you that they intend on making you their girl. Like we got to figure that out, black
Yeah,
people.
hustling all the
No,
way.
bro, that has to be
I,
culture, bro. It has to be culture.
I call it hustling backwards. Um, yeah, you're definitely hustling backwards as a woman. That's why I brought up the ideal of maybe just stop fucking them. Like if they're not giving you what you need, not fucking them is an option too. Like you don't have to fuck niggas because it's Friday. Like you could have some discipline. You can just talk to them, date them. That is an option.
So a
But
woman
Women
is
can
going to
start
go
Yeah,
fucking
after
women who
whatever
can't
they.
cook.
But Cherry,
sometimes
in
A
my
woman is
Cherry,
going to go
experience,
after.
hold on, Cherry. But who is that an option for? Because you know what? I'm gonna be honest and transparent too. I just went through some shit like that a couple of days ago. Like,
what happened?
hold on, look at you. No, how is it an option? Like, don't waste my time. Like, like at the end of the day, right? The penis is value, just like the punani is value. They both hold value, right? But if you want to get that man to the space and place because you want some penis, right? The time that he's spending with you, when he might not want to necessarily get intimate with you, he could be out making money. So if he's gonna make the sacrifice to keep you company, then in order for him to get into whatever he want to get into, you got to be able to make those concessions as well. If
Are you
not,
saying you? Are you
I
saying?
say, I
Are you
say,
saying
plate
that?
before pussy.
let her
Are you
answer
Eat
quick.
some food first.
are you saying that in order to like have a man in order for a woman to be in your space, she got to give you sex?
No, I'm saying that if you invite a man over because you want sex, because sometimes
Mm-hmm.
women play this game. Women try to act like they don't want it. Like, let's use Summer Walker for example. Sometimes women want it just as much as the men want it. And sometimes a woman will take you off of your Sarata Mustaqim or your Dean or your straight and narrow path because she want to get dick down, right? So what you'll do, you you might not want to do that, but a woman is expressing to your needs, and part of being a provider is not just providing for her financially, but it's also you got to be the maintenance man when that time is required, right? My thing is once he gets there, right? You can't just have it your way. You got to be able to do what he might want to do.
Low, like
You,
please him.
yeah, you might have to put the little extra mile into something that you might not normally do.
Oh,
You gotta stir the pot up.
of
You gotta
course.
stir
But
it
see,
up.
that's the difference
That's it.
between there's two types of sex from a woman. You have pity sex and you have passionate sex. Okay.
This is crazy.
So a lot of men, they get the pity sex. They get
Don't
the
forget
pity
the
pussy.
necessity sex.
That too. Yep. Thank you for that, Papa. You get the pity pussy. So all I'm saying is I'm not do your thing. Y'all say sex is the number one thing. So if sex is the number one thing, then I should not be hearing any complaining about her character, how she moves, because all you care about is access to sex. You don't care about nothing else. Because that's
No,
what I'm
but see,
hearing in this audience.
and this is why I wanted to finish my statement before, just to jumped in there, because we have to understand what sex is. Like you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for sex. All right. So let's understand the sex in the total dynamic of what it is. Um when and we in a conscious space, but I'm just gonna assume that most of us know it's deeper than a physical act, right? Does anybody not
Of
know?
course. Of
Okay,
course.
all right, okay, all right.
Absolutely.
So the goal is to get a connection with somebody where that is the highest level of exchange, right? Like that's what we want. So let's not act like that's not the case, first off. And second of all, let's put some respect on it. But the respect isn't okay, well, I didn't smash 20 dudes, but I met you and I'm gonna stop smashing. Like that's not putting respect on it.
No, I was
Like,
saying to take
But
your time to get to know people. Like
right.
I'm not saying sex is not needed. I'm saying instead of just sex, boom, boom, bam. Actually, since sex is such a sacred activity, it should not just be given out because
No, I
they're
understand that,
connected.
but
So
that wasn't my
that's where
point.
I'm coming from. I'm going
Right,
to
but that
look at
wasn't
the
my point when I
character.
was speaking.
Okay, so that's just all I'm. That's
So
just what I wanted because it just was
I wasn't
sounding.
misunderstanding you, Cherry.
Yeah, it
I
was
wasn't
just sounding
misunderstanding you.
like as if sex, regardless of character and anything else, is just the end all be all. But you clarified it. So.
Well, see, that's I mean, it is the end all be all, but I didn't use those words.
I want to
Like
speak
that
on something
that
because
and see this is and you know what? Go ahead,
yeah,
y'all. Go ahead.
say,
I'm not even
You
gonna make my point. You
you're
right.
making
You
slow
right.
points. You're taking too
yeah,
long to make your point.
what,
I keep getting
what,
interrupted, so that's the reason why.
yeah. Let me get in there. Yeah,
But
what
but
I noticed though.
but before I give the
Yeah,
mic up though,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
gonna
Let TJ land. Let him land. No problem. You know what I'm saying? I don't want. I don't want
bef-
anyone's. I don't want anyone's submission to be stifled. In a way. So, CJ, land your plane, and you know, please allow him to land. And, Cherry, can you put us in the start a queue
Can't
for
even
us?
hear you.
Yeah, it's hard to
I,
hear you.
No, I understand what you're
yeah,
saying. I'm gonna land the plane, and then it sounds like you on the plane. I'm gonna land that plane, and then and then Cherry's gonna probably start a queue because it seemed like it's getting crazy.
exactly,
You're
exactly,
on the
I
plane.
got copy that, copy that, copy
Okay.
that.
exactly.
So one of the things that I understand from having sex at such a young age, right? So I'm a grandfather now because I started my family very, very, very early. And one of the things that I understand is it is the end all. It will change your life. How you that whole dynamic and what you connect to and how you connect things to sex will change your life. But we're not addressing that. We're just saying, hey, just stop having sex. Like we're still not getting to the root of the issue. We're still not understanding the importance of sex. We we can get married until we have sex. We're still not even officially married. But the goal is to get there and to get there um, with the best of intentions for both of us. Um, so I love these conversations, but if we just approaching things on a surface level, then we're still not fixing the issue. I might as well keep having sex.
Okay. Do anyone else want to? I appreciate that, CJ.
Yeah.
Anyone else want to speak?
I want to speak on the food part. If y'all don't stop getting y'all plate of food before y'all stop having sex with these women, if y'all don't ask these women, do they cook? Do they know how to cook? Before y'all have sex with her, you're putting these women on the spot because they know how to have sex, but they don't know how to cook. Give these women some grace. Show them around the kitchen before you kick them out.
but actually,
Can I comment on that?
And look,
what I noticed is you don't get the cooking unless you fuck them right. So they hold out. They don't cook and clean and do none of the other stuff until you fuck them right.
Hey, listen,
No,
I got a question. Listen, I got a
Period.
question. I need y'all help since we having the therapy
Program boys
session.
have found the other African countries. We know.
I need y'all help. I need y'all help. So, all right,
After North African boys,
yeah,
we
he a
find out
troll.
about
That boy a
or
troll,
some
man.
who is that?
followed by Nigerians.
Why?
I'm trying.
South
So
African
he
boys
a
are
troll,
Hey,
man.
get him out of here, y'all. I'm driving.
Hey,
Somebody.
he's out. He's out.
All right. So look, I got a question. All right. So look, I was invited and I was hungry, but I really didn't want to go to this invitation, but I went. And I was told because they went to the gym and they worked. When I was asking about this food, I was told, uh, why do I have to cook? And so automatically in my head, I thought, I want y'all to help me with this. Automatically in my head, I thought, well, why do I have to come? I really don't want to come all the way up there because I can have that what you want to have anytime and at another time. I'm hungry and I'm willing to perform, but I mean, was I? Am I wrong? Am I thinking like? Is my thinking? Somebody, can y'all help me, y'all? I need help.
No, you're not wrong. Look, I don't know about anybody else, and can date. I appreciate the back and forth in the chat, but and look, I love me a did you eat today type of woman. I love that. You know what I'm saying? I'm accustomed to a certain type of treatment from the feminine entity in my life. That if you're not a semblance of that with a little bit of sex appeal, then I'm not wasting my time with you. You know what I'm saying? Like I got one life to live. I'm not about to live my life not getting everything that I want out of life, especially romantically. You know what I'm saying? And I hope that you would have the same attitude. How you gonna live this one life and not get everything that you ever want out of a man romantically? You know what I'm saying? So absolutely, I am entitled. Yes, yes, I am entitled because I deserve to be. I deserve to be. If I'm coming like this, I expect you to come like this. This is what I want. Okay, this is what you want. Well, I fit that. Oh, you fit this. Let's make it happen.
Oh, I like that.
Let's make it happen. Like I don't see what the big deal is. And Delphine, you absolutely right. And that we shouldn't put these women on the spot, right? I date a little look, ever since that experience, I date differently now. I vet differently now. Look, if you ain't got I call it a wife portfolio. I don't want to see pictures of your lingerie. Man, what you know how to fix a pot of beans over there? Like what's going on? Like
What
what
I'm
type of
talking
quality
about.
like what type of um qualities do you have? Like if I look at you, like I literally have like when I talk to women out to and I'm and we vetting and stuff and we quote unquote dating and getting to know each other. I literally this is one question that go off in my mind every single time. I ask myself, if I were to have a daughter, would I want her to be like you? And if that answers no, I'm wasting my time. So
And
I'm up.
was I tripping? Was I tripping or not? And
No, you wasn't tripping. No, not at
all right,
all. Not at all. Because
thank you.
look, we have standards too. But I mean, it just seems like a lot of men, you know what I'm saying? They just, for some reason, they just afraid to just lay down their standards. Hey, look, I understand this is how I need to come, but hey, look, I gotta like you too. This ain't just no one way thing. I gotta like you too. I gotta wake up and be happy with what I'm waking up with for the rest of my life as well. Like all this one way stuff gotta go, man. Oh.
I love that for real.
Don't y'all think that the reason that most women feel that way, that they can just show up any kind of way, is because most men will accept a woman any kind of way as long as he can have access to her?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All they
That's
care about,
terrible.
all they care about is sex. No, they don't care about nothing else. How you coming? Just I want to fuck. And then until you so attached and you don't like how this person talk to you, how they talk to y'all kids, how they move in the world. But I mean, the only thing, your only prerequisite was how easy is she?
So see, I think that that's a problem. And I've heard Aunt tell this story before. It's still funny. But
most guys either they can't or they don't speak from a, I'm gonna use the word privileged place, right? Where they actually have options and they know they have options and they exercise those options. So when women show up any kind of way, they're not really used to men like pointing that out. You know what I'm saying? And saying, you have to do something for me outside of just sex. And they be throwing women all off. They don't even know how to show up with those kind of men.
That's what I was saying earlier. Like some women don't be knowing how to like. They only value is sex. Like they don't have nothing outside of that. Sex and money. Like, and so when you get with men who got money, then it's like, oh my God, what do I do now?
That's I
And
ain't gonna
they'll
lie.
deal
That
with oh my
that
bad.
sound like a mother issue or a father issue. I can't pinpoint which one, but that's definitely a parental issue.
Yeah, or they'll deal with men who are like lower than them in like the financial sense because then it's like, nigga, you can't do better than me. Like, please, I'm gonna give my sex and give my money and you gonna hush type vibes. But anyone else would like to speak on the topic?
Yeah, there's another aspect of it that I we haven't talked about that I'm curious to hear people's take on it. And so that deals with education. So I remember I was reading this the statistic, and it was saying because people have had this conversation around race and dating outside of your race, and I saw that the stats said that Black women were actually increasingly uh, married to Black men at a much higher rate, and that because they're college educated, they're more likely to be um, in a stable marriage. So I'm wondering, how everyone values education, and if it's a deal breaker at all um, in your guys's, your experience or your views.
Is that a question for the men, Jackie?
It's for everybody. It's for both men and women.
Oh. Oh yeah, I value education. Absolutely. I like nerds. I like have intellectual conversations. I like education. Very important.
Yeah, I value oh peace everybody, by the way. I just popped back in the room. I was about to say, I value education, but I kind of value it in a different type of way. Like I value hmm, I value like the skill of like endurance that you have to kind of like make it all the way to the end, but still withstand the distractions and still hold like an important version of yourself type of a thing, or still finish with what you began with type of a value for education. But for the most part, it's like the qualities and attributes that you have while you go through that, because even if it's not necessarily like a school education thing that I'm valuing, I value the education of experience itself too.
I love that. Yeah. I
Yeah,
agree with that
that's
for
nice.
sure.
That's nice.
Peace, Papa. What's up, kid?
Yeah, because
What's up,
people
Boo
who
Bear? What's going on, Bless?
What's up, King CJ?
Yeah, you already know.
that's true though, Bliss, because people who go through that education, they do you develop certain skill sets. Just
Mhm.
your personal development. I think Jesta, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I thought everybody had a degree these days. Um, my wife, she got a degree. My daughter's mom, she got a degree. I can't remember a woman that I was in a serious interaction with and she didn't have a degree. So kind of baffles me that we would think that. I thought it was like a prerequisite for you modern people. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
even past that, like the sister said, it's about application, right? a lot of people got a degree and they working at a dead end job that they hate, that they don't make the money that they want to make, and they struggling financially. Okay, you got a degree, you got 2 degrees, you got a master's, and that's still your life. So what at that point? I mean, what good is your degree? I mean, you got the experience from college. You know, some people get a degree online, but still, what good is a degree if you weren't really producing something in life? So I think that's different than just quote unquote being educated.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I
it
think
kind of
also
goes
the
back to
education
the whole
part of
thing
it.
about it being like it really got to be something that's in you, not on you. You know what I'm saying? Like you can go get your little
Wake it
certificate
up.
and paint it on you, but what's really in you, that's what's exuding through your experience of educating yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love what
no,
you said because oh
of
my
course.
fault. My fault. Go ahead, Jackie. I'm gonna
No,
go
go
after
ahead, go
you,
ahead.
bro. Um, the other thing about it is, what is your degree in? Like, what is your master's in? If your master's isn't in public speaking, then you probably don't have public speaking skills, right? If your master's ain't in integrity, you don't. That doesn't mean because you have a master's degree, you ultimately also have integrity. It doesn't mean you have communication skills. It doesn't mean that you have the ability to regulate your emotions. Um, so, having a degree is applicable in the skills that you have the degree in. And then you still have to show your level of expertise in that. So
Yeah.
it's still room for improvement.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. And see, that's why I was going to say, and in general, not being specific, and I was vague about the type of education. I think, like for me personally, I'm always going to be a lifelong learner. So even someone just getting a certificate or just building knowledge, self-study, I think is important because there's so much knowledge out there. And if you're just reading to read, you're not going to get much, but if you apply it, that's where it makes a difference. And I agree with what you said about, it doesn't mean that you have integrity. It doesn't, because that's not what it's for. It doesn't teach you those things. And I think that's kind of into the next thing I was going to talk about, which is mental health, because that's where you learn things like emotional regulation. And unfortunately, in the Black community, it's still stigmatized. It's getting better, but mental health is a huge component of relationships and why they break down as well, because there's a lack of communication and honesty and all of that. So when it comes to certain qualities, that's more of self-improvement and being self-aware that plays a role in that. But statistically wise, the comment I was reading in the comment, it actually is showing stats that more college educated women are unstable. That's just the stats. I mean, I just work with it, but um, it's interesting. I think about 89% of people have a high school diploma, but those who have a degree, it's actually a lot lower than you think. It's about like 40%, I believe 38 to 40% of adults that have a bachelor's degree. Um, and I believe like 40% are women, 35 or 7 are men. And I think women earning about 60% of master's degrees, nearly, yeah, and about 60% of bachelors. But I found it very interesting that that Black woman had, better luck in a stable marriage if they were college educated. And I'm not quite sure why, but again, it could have to do with just the whole aspect of the economy is getting a lot worse. And so women are expected to put in work
When she's
for,
done, can I say something real quick?
well, yeah, of course, I was just about to finish. So, but I kind of lost my train of thought. So go ahead.
So I am out and about, and I just stopped at a Chinese restaurant to get some food for me and the girls because we're riding. We always manage to stop and get something to eat. tell me why this black guy, he was in there and started up a conversation with me. And then we got to talking and stuff, guys. So I learned that he is from California. He actually moved over to the state I'm in now. And he left his family, and he had 2 kids by a Mexican woman. Tell me why the Mexican woman told him that she loved him, but she's not in love with him, broke it off, and said that she wanted to be back with her with a Mexican man, and now she's married and back with a Mexican man. I said, what the hell? I said, so you mean to tell me she had kids by a black man for black money, and then now I'm back with a Mexican man? That's dirty. I'm telling y'all, it's some dirty women out here. That's all I had to say. Watch out, brothers, because it's bad out here, especially when y'all go to the other race. Ain't no way. I said, what, sir? He said, yep. She told me she wanted to go back and she wanted to be with a Mexican man. She didn't want him no more.
Damn.
I said, damn, that's cold blood. That's some cold ass shit.
But I'm trying to figure out what Mexican man gonna take a Mexican woman with 2 nigga babies. All right.
She's married. Obviously, the Mexican man that married her, because she's married now with 2 black mixed beautiful babies. He showed me his kids. And now he's in Arizona and doing his own thing and working, and he's making good money.
He got issues. She
He
could
has a
control
real
him.
estate agent, and he's working hard, and
That's
he
good.
pays good child support, and he's taking really good care of those 2 kids. And she's married back to a Mexican. She's married with a Mexican man now, and that's it. And she left him. She told
So
him
the
he didn't want
lesson I
to.
learned from that is not to trust none of y'all. That's the lesson I
The
learned. I
lesson
don't
to
know.
learn is
I don't
it
know.
ain't safe
I
no
don't know if you
goddamn
thought
way.
the lesson was nah, dog. You tripping. So understand this, because my cousins married other ethnicities and they perfectly fine. But what I learned from you is, because of how you interpreted that situation and how you interjected it into the conversation, I mean, what I'm saying is we ain't safe nowhere.
Y'all not safe nowhere, and the women ain't safe no goddamn where either. So
Hey,
it's safe to say that I'm sorry that this man just put his whole life on me and told me his whole life story. I was sad for that brother, because I said, you mean to tell me you dated this Mexican woman, you loved her, and then she broke it off 2 kids in and said
I
that she
mean,
didn't want to be with you no more. She
Now
wanted to
why
go
you ain't
back.
now why you ain't say that, brother?
She wanted
You
to
could
go
have been
back.
his black queen.
She wanted to go back, and he asked me for my number, but I told him
I
I'm
give it
good.
to
I ain't
him.
want nobody. No, I don't want nobody right now.
But no,
See what I'm
no,
saying?
no. Now, why you? Jackie was over here
See
speaking
what I'm
about
saying?
education and.
I'm sorry, Cherry. I had to break it up. I was stunned to know that this man got broken off on, and this woman went back to her Mexican man, and he said that it was a disconnect. She just didn't want him no more. She said, because she's not in love with him. She's in love with the Mexican man, and there she is. She's married. I said, well, where's she at now? He said, married. He said she got married a year ago and she's with the Mexican man. I said, you got 2 beautiful black kids with her. I said, so don't worry. At least you got 2
See
beautiful
y'all.
Mexican kids.
This is
Hey,
crazy,
and
dog.
look, y'all, and here's the thing, right? And I'm glad you shared that story. And this is why, like, personally, like, to bring it back, I don't care about a woman's education, her job. A woman in her right mind is worth more to me than a woman in her bag. You got to be in your right
Wake
damn
that
mind.
up.
Say
I
that
ain't
again. Say that
God told
again.
me to share it here
a,
because I'm in
a
this
Say
woman.
that
circle.
again.
A
God
woman in
said
her right
share it.
mind. A woman in her right mind is worth more than a woman in her bag.
Amen.
Bumba clats.
And that's how
Yeah,
we
she's just
fellas gotta
messy.
continually look
And
at
he
it.
paying big.
That's why I was saying, like, sometimes, like
Child
when it's
support, he
too
said. I said, well,
easy
are
and a
you helping
woman go
out
back and
still?
forth and she hot and cold, get ready, because that's how your relationship gonna be. Like, you have to know what you want and stand on that regardless. Period.
Well, I'm a firm believer that men shouldn't be getting relationship advice from women. Firm believer of that. We can learn some interesting perspectives on things and keep that in the back of our head for a later date. But none of this stuff is really valuable. Like what the brother just said, it was extremely valuable compared to all the other advice that hit the floor. So, all right, get off me, bro. Get off me. So
Aw.
I understand though. Like I understand, but women can't even give good relationship advice to women generally.
And
So
you think men are giving
That's
good
what
advice? Come on. I think
absolutely, absolutely.
Don't take the
no.
bait, ladies. Oh my gosh.
I mean, yeah, just let them go. But Jackie, I want to go back to what you're talking about the education. Thank you, Blissful, for reminding us to stay in our queen energy. I think the reason why the educated women do better in marriage is because they're not in survival mode and their
That makes
nervous
sense.
system, yeah, their nervous system is more relaxed, I would hope. And so now they can pick, they're not picking from lack, they're picking from like vision and purpose and, desire. And they probably have the time to work on other traits, like King was saying, like communication and all of those traits. That would be a reason I would think that they would make better wives.
Yeah, I can see that, especially if they're in counseling, couples counseling and things like that, because you learn to be more open-minded and put more work into your marriage, your relationship. But I definitely agree with being out of not being in lack and being a lot more settled and feeling safer. So and the story that woman just told kind of goes back to what I was trying to say about women who feel that they deserve more and higher, make their standards a lot higher, or sometimes unreasonable. And I I disagreed earlier because and I looked this up. It confirmed that it's not that women feel they don't deserve these relationships. It's actually shown statistically that they do prefer, to be in those relationships with the provider. Um, I think it's the pool of options, the pool of men who meet the provider is shrinking due to the shifts in the labor market. And um, when women can't find a man that provides, they can adopt. There's like that, well, they don't want or deserve one anyway. But I don't. I think that's kind of a more of a myth or a cop out, than actual reality. Um, I think that it just has to do with the pool shift, like
But
the
Jackie, you think
amount.
it's really that like there's no providers around? Like,
No, I didn't say that there was no
Oh,
providers. I'm saying that there's
because
like
I
the
be
pool is
seeing
shrinking. Like
I be
statistically,
seeing them. I be seeing them. Like
I'm
they be
just telling you
ready.
statistically. You can see them,
Okay.
but I'm just saying
'Cause
physically,
they
it's
be
can
just
I
what it
speak when y'all
providers.
done?
is.
Can I speak when y'all done?
Yes, you can.
Oh, thank you. I don't think it's a pool of providers that's shrinking. I think it's a pool of understanding that's shrinking. Like with the increase of knowledge, everybody thinks what they think is correct, and they're so fucking wrong. So I think that like that's the major issue. Men think they understand and know what it means to be a husband, and women think they understand what it means to be a wife, and they wrong this shit.
Yeah,
Like
I know what you're
before you get into the provider and the rules and everything else like that, there's one very, very common instruction: service. And everybody looking to receive rather than to give is signing up for a commitment of disaster.
Absolutely, I agree.
Like, ask the average person, right? The average person, how good are you keeping your word? The average person will look you in the face and lie. A marriage is a promise, it's a covenant, it's a commitment. But with divorce lingering, right? They treat marriage like a glorified boyfriend girlfriend relationship. Marriage is supposed to be forever. We locked in, thick and thin. Whatever comes our way, we rocking out. You know what happened? The first person that's unhappy, usually the women. Let's call a spade a spade. It's game over. So when women say like there's a shortage of what it is that they're looking for, what they're really saying is there's a shortage of their comprehension and understanding. Yeah. And in return, you're breeding
worse off men. Men don't want to commit to something they can't commit back. Keep it a buck.
I
A
think
man
both
not
need
going to
to
tell you that
commit.
they're afraid. They're not going to tell you that they're afraid, but they are afraid. Go ahead, it's a dialogue. I'm
Afraid of
listening.
what though?
Afraid of the failure because my body, my choice, when we're supposed to be operating as one, if you constantly have somebody who's operating singular, right? You have no power over the outcome. The man might not want to leave. He might have fucked up or she might have fucked up or whatever the case may be. All right, babe, let's work it out. Women are quitters. I've seen it on Clubhouse in the real world time and time again. If especially
Who's
when it comes
leaving
to
their
a
kids the
generation,
most though?
hold
Like,
on, hold on. Especially when it comes to a generation of women who don't love men or their position. You're saying who's raising the children primarily? I'm glad you brought that up. The women are, right? So just because you're doing a
no, I
job
said
doesn't
who
mean
is leaving? Leaving.
who's leaving the children.
Right. Like not providing up to their roles. There's a large
Women,
number of men
women.
that are leaving these relationships and not taking care of their
That's
children.
not
Okay,
true at all. That's
hold
that's
on,
that's really not true. That
hold
you
on,
don't you have no statistic to prove that. And I would hope that we aren't just negatively speaking on black men
hold
Oh,
on,
I'm
bro.
not.
supporting
That's
them
why I
as the
generalized. I'm talking about men,
okay.
period.
So that's still the generalization that would be detrimental to black men. We got to stop spreading these
I'm gonna say in totality, right? There's two things at play that draws this narrative. Number one, we don't talk about or we don't talk enough about the women who don't know who the child belongs to. We don't talk about that enough. So a man can't be present if the woman doesn't know who the child belongs to. That's number one. Number two, for what it is that you're looking for, when you constantly fuck up and make a mistake, we got to stop pointing the finger somewhere else. Example, this man has no desire to be what you want him to be. He has no desire to be a husband. He has no desire to be a family man. That is not his aspirations, nor is it his dream. You give him a child anyway. We can say genderly, oh, the men are leaving the homes. The men aren't stepping up to the plate. Okay, okay. But let's also look at how the children are being raised after these mistakes are made. A lot of children are going to grandmom's house. A lot of children are staying in daycare well past 6, 7, 8 hours. And also, when the child does come home, the mother is neglecting her child. So just because the mother is seen with the child doesn't mean that she's raising the child. How do we know? 13 and 14-year-old young men are dying and going to jail at a high clip. Daddy not around, right? If we're going to run that narrative, the father isn't in the home. So the easy blame could be, well, it's because the dad ain't there. But you know what the even bigger blame could be? I lay down with that nigga. I didn't make sure that he was a family man. I didn't make sure that he valued marriage. I didn't make sure that I was outside of my whole phase. But it's more convenient to point the finger because you don't really hear men running around saying like, oh, I just want a family and I just, and this, yo, bro, that's not what you want. Most men will tell you straight up, yeah, I'm just trying to fuck. I'm just trying to fuck. Every now and then you'll have a fuck nigga trying to sound like he about family. Every once in a
I'm
while. But
confused. You said like two different things in the same breath of.
you gotta keep
I'm
up with me. I'm
confused.
shopping. I'm at the market. You gotta keep up, baby.
Because in a way you're saying it's women's fault, but then in a way now you're saying, well, men will come to you and say that they don't want a family. So I'm confused. Ain't that the
I'm
reason why these
all right.
young
Let me make
teenage
it plain.
boys is dying out here because the
Let me
men
make it
don't
plain.
want their kids?
Let me make
Can
it
I
plain,
can I
right?
tap in
Wouldn't
real
it be
quick,
on the
Papa?
I
men
got
to
you,
get
bro.
out there in the streets and save they boys from dying from the hands of
They
another black
don't
man?
These are some dangerous
listen what I'm
narratives,
saying.
man.
Listen to what I'm saying. You can't put the blame on a motherfucker who never gave a fuck to begin with. So
Oh,
I'm gonna
okay.
make
I
it
feel you.
plain.
All right, all right, all right. I feel you now. I'm in it now.
I'm gonna make it plain. For a person who wants to go to college, they're responsible for completing the program. For a person who wants to be in the street, they're responsible for the life they live, right? What the narrative is, you guys need to stop doing this and start doing that. For who?
Okay,
There's
brother, wake it
men.
up. Wake it up. Now I feel what you're saying. Wake it up.
There's men out here that's like, I don't give a fuck about what's going on. I'm gonna stand 10 toes on being a man. If I have a baby by a smut ass bitch, I'm gonna take care of the child regardless because that's his integrity. You hold those men accountable. You hold those men 10 toes down because that's what they aspire to be. Fuck these fuck niggas. These fuck niggas don't give a shit. The same way I say to women, yo, some women want to be wives. Some women just say that shit because they think that that has status over other women. We not worried about those because a lot of people are talking a whole lot of informational shit, but when you search their heart, they're far from it. That's what I'm saying. Women got to stop laying down with the wrong niggas and stop saying, "Hey, you need to be a father." He never was going to be one of those.
He was never gonna be one from the beginning.
He was never
Yes.
going to be one of those. So we have to identify who gets access to our womb and who has access to our nutsack. It goes both ways. Because every time I hear a nigga talking about, oh, she don't let me see my kids and this and that, I cringe. Are you a man or a mouse? You bitch
I
ass nigga.
cringe too because, not to cut you off, I cringe because my father raised me before he passed away. My mama used to always resort to me and my brother, oh, y'all Bobby's kids. Honey, when I tell you my daddy used to come in, he would be like, Bobby and Brittany, y'all get y'all shit and let's go. We would be scared because my mama had 6 kids. I'm the baby, and then my brother's over me. So my dad only had 2 kids, which was me and my brother. I mean, I would be shaking. I pissed on myself one day he came in there. He came in the house drunk off his Wild Hours Rose. And he came in the house, on my mama's house. I was probably like 5, 6 years old. He came in there. He said, Judy, I'm coming to get my kids. And my mama said, Bobby, I ain't arguing with you today. That's what he said. As soon as I heard my mama say, Bobby, I ain't arguing with you today. I'm getting my stuff. I said, because this nigga ain't playing in my head. I'm thinking I say nigga, but now as I look back, daddy wasn't playing. Honey, he said, Bobby and Brittany, get y'all shit, let's go. Literally. Do you hear me? And me and my brother, we looked at
Scared her
each
and
other.
got that shit
We
together.
was scared. We got our shit and we did what the fuck he said. And we walked our punk asses down at the bottom of the hill and we went to his house, which was his mother's house. And he raised us. And that's why I said on today, when a lot of these men say they can't get their kids and oh,
Fuck
she
out
did
of
this
here.
and did that,
Excuses.
I always say them men are not men, they weak ass, pussy ass niggas because even without the system getting in the business,
Hey
my
yo,
dad,
this is crazy work. This
even
is
with
crazy work,
even
man. Are you
without
serious?
even without the system, my daddy always meant I'm taking my kids, Judy. And he did that. He raised us good too.
All
Thank
right,
God for
and
my
so you're
father.
talking
That's
about
what's up. Wait,
hold
hold on.
Okay.
on.
I'm sorry.
Let's get
Real
let's
quick.
let me you can't be serious. All right, first off, that
Okay,
was like
CJ,
40
after
years.
you, we're going to let Maya get in because I think she's going to bring some balance.
All right, so and this is what I was trying to get to, man. These dangerous narratives, right? So we have these sweeping generalizations that we know are not true for the majority of people that we consistently vocalize on apps and in our personal life. Dangerous. And it's not dangerous to you, so y'all don't care. But it's dangerous to black men. Because what it leaves women with the impression of that might be impressionable is that what you're saying is true. So since the majority of black men do not have kids, majority of black men do not have kids, we know this isn't true. The majority of black men that have kids are the most active fathers on the planet. We also know that's true. So what men are you talking about?
You can ask the brother because he was talking about it first when he
No,
basically
I'm I'm
stated
I'm
that he
I'm
don't.
I'm, I'm just
No,
going
he can
straight
ask
to the
me.
room. I don't need to like really address nobody like
Because
that.
there's a
So
lot of men that
because
don't, that be saying, oh, I can't get my
that
kids
has
or I
nothing
can't
to
see
do with
my
what I'm
kids.
saying. And when it comes to that point right there, there's too many men locked up right now behind assault charges, protective orders, that have tipped the scales in the courtroom when it even comes to visitation, when it comes to their rights. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Like, we're not even going to give men a fair shake, like, as men when we're talking about this. This crazy work, man, and y'all need to watch your mouth.
Hey y'all, good afternoon, good evening. Um, I don't know, my head going all a couple of different ways. So, first of all, to the gentleman that said like the women are giving the men the 20% of men babies and only dealing with them. Why aren't the 80% of men like going and like fucking those 20% of men up? Like, why y'all not eliminating them? Y'all do know that you can. Oh, go ahead, because somebody want to talk, and I ain't even get to finish.
Nah, you got it, Maya. Maya, go ahead, finish. Papa, hold on a second. Yeah, I think he just accidentally came.
Oh,
Yeah,
maybe he
you good. You
accidentally
good.
came off mic. Okay, like it's just like one of those things where it's like, if you complain about it, then fuck those 20% of men up. Like the 80%, it's more y'all than it is of them. What's happening? Like, why isn't a thing where you say, you know what? If these 20% of men is making our community degenerates, then let's eliminate them. What happens when you eliminate them? Now the 80% come to when, because y'all still the majority. What happens when y'all do that? And then now y'all the only ones? Are you still gonna? Okay.
No, I think that's a good question, Maya, because it definitely I hear a lot of the men like, the 40-year-olds, and they're just like, oh my God, I don't have no kids. And I haven't met a woman that's worth me giving children to. It's like, whoa, where y'all be at? Like, we want y'all too. Where y'all at?
Okay, go ahead, Papa, and then I'm a touch base after you.
But I wasn't even finished though. That's my whole
Okay.
point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Bliss
Like,
came in. Bliss came in after you paused. So go ahead, Maya. Do your
Oh, I
thing.
came in
yeah,
after she muted
my
up.
bad. I can't
Yeah, that's what I
breathe.
thought.
My
That's what I
bad.
thought. She muted up. That's what I could have
Yeah, I
sworn.
mute up when people
She
start
definitely paused.
talking. I mute up when people come off mic because I understand how Clubhouse
Day
is.
one, Maya. I remember you, Maya. Got that same PTR from 2001. I see you.
Yeah, why I need to change for it?
Nothing, not a damn thing. I see you, boo.
But my whole thing is like it's like if y'all are complaining about the 20% of men that all get all the women, then why aren't the 80%? It's more of y'all. So why are y'all not standing up and being like, oh, the 20% of the degenerates and they got all the baby mamas? Why are y'all not fucking them up? I just don't understand that. Like, it doesn't make sense in my mind. Like, if you complain about them and if they're the degenerates and they are making it worse for the community, then why not eliminate them?
Daddies.
That's what.
In what way? Eliminate them how, Maya?
No,
Well,
don't
you
spell
know
it out
what?
like this out here.
I'm not a part of the 80%, so that would be a part of the 80% for them to decide, right? But I could come up with some things in my head, but
That's what
just
I was
saying,
thinking. Just
yeah,
I don't know, maybe
yeah,
3
no,
like
I know
ideas
it
that
was
they can cook
rhetorical,
with.
but it's like one of those things where it's like, if you complain about it, then why not do something about it?
Well, girl, if they haven't done nothing thus far, I think they need.
Do you mean like mentorship? Because I do think we need more mentors for younger kids, younger generations, people to take those roles. But that's a whole other topic, to be honest.
I really wasn't talking about mentorship. I was talking about why y'all don't fuck them niggas up. I mean, if you yeah, like why the fuck don't y'all eliminate them? If
Violence
y'all
is
feel
not
so
gonna
threatened about the 20% of men that keep having babies by everybody else, then why the fuck ain't y'all getting rid of them? Why aren't the 80%? Why aren't the 80%? Why aren't the 80%? Hello? Why aren't the 80%? Why aren't the 80% stepping up and saying, you know what? Y'all not finna make us look bad. Fuck y'all niggas. Let's get rid of y'all so the 80% will be here.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I think
That's excessive. I don't
for the most part,
it's excessive
especially
now. You see what I'm saying? Like, you get what I'm saying? So it's excessive
How do I get
Well,
in here?
yeah.
I think showing them the way would be probably a bit more effective. Yeah. Like, I mean, especially because we
There's
have
no
right
showing
now
those
a
men the
bunch of
way.
young YNs because of what society is promoting. And there's a purpose behind it. It's intentional. Like, they don't want us to procreate and to have stable marriages right now. Like, that's just the way of the world. It's a lot deeper of an issue politically. But you can't just I don't think beating dudes up is going to really make a difference. I think that would make them act out more, to be honest. But I think
Who is
having
they?
role models.
Hold on, wait, hold on. Let me get in here real quick, y'all, because we kind of
Yeah,
talking about it like from afar, like we
I'm talking
not
about like younger generations. Yeah,
we talk.
because I'm
Well,
older. I'm 33, so
okay, go ahead,
Chad,
I'm a
you
Jackie.
older.
33 year
Okay,
old
well,
black
let me
woman.
tell you, when you
So
get to 45, let me tell you something. You looking down on these people and you understand, like, what is y'all doing?
yeah, and I am, but that's why I'm saying they need actual role models. They don't have their role models are
They
Okay, I
need
think we're
fucking
disrespecting women.
daddies.
y'all.
So that's what I'm saying is
Talk
like,
about role models. They need fathers.
well, that's what a role model is it not? Like, I mean, a father should be a role model. So
So
I'm saying in general, it is a systemic issue. Like
where is Amon?
beating people up. You think that that's really gonna solve shit? Like the fuck?
I ain't even talking about beating people up. I said eliminate.
Oh, okay, because that's
You
better.
don't understand.
Nah,
Eliminate,
Maya.
annihilate. If there is an issue, look, they still George Zimmerman is still walking around. Is y'all cool?
Hey, as a serial baby father, y'all talking about eliminate men because women like them?
No, I'm talking about the 20% of yeah.
That's what I'm
Can
trying
I
to
Oh wait,
can
comment
I
to real
aren't you the
answer?
quick, if y'all don't mind.
pedophile?
Hold
Okay, never
on.
mind. Nope, I
Hold
can't
on
talk
one
to the
So how
second.
many?
pedophile.
Just real quick. I'm not
How,
even like I don't even talk that long, I promise.
Who's a pedophile?
But
What?
I just wanted to say
The
that
Baghdaddy guy. I
what the
can't talk to the
hell?
pedophile. Yeah, I'm cool.
Cap. But I'm a serial baby father.
bro, let Blissful
Wait a
speak,
minute,
bro.
what's going on in here? Are people kicking people down?
God.
Are people
Bliss,
leaving? What's
No,
happening?
no, no. Everything's good. Everything's good. Everybody, hold
Okay,
on,
I'm
one
Blissful,
trying
mic.
to still do
Hold
the
on, one
room,
mic.
and
One
but I'm
mic.
out
Yeah,
still with my
you good, Nunu?
family.
Yeah.
Nah, you
So
good,
if some,
Nunu. I
I'm
got
trying
you.
to
I
make
okay,
sure
got
y'all
you.
can hear me. I'm like, let me leave and come back because
Nah,
there's no
she
way.
good. She good. Nunu was ready to fight. She's like, hold on, what we
could
doing?
could
We ain't
Blissful
doing
speak?
nobody. What we doing? All right, let's reset real quick, man. We in the team pack up, man. Y'all know what it is. One mic policies, man. This is a space where we can grow, we can learn, we can have the build that we can't have in other rooms because we're not being toxic. We're not intentionally trying to hurt anybody. We got Among who runs the rooms on a normal basis. But Tiger, I'm not sure if y'all know who he is. The Tiger himself is the one who curates the room. So respect to them. Amon will be back in the building. Until then, Bliss, it's on you. I appreciate you, ladies. We're gonna give the feminine their space. All right, let's not jump and elbow and roughhouse so they can have that conversation. All right.
Okay. Thank you, King CJ, because I'm like jumping in the ring, tussling for the mic. But Maya, please do come up because I was actually about to comment towards your question about why this big old huge bold 80% aren't, knocking down the little old weenie ass 20%. And I was gonna say, like, we were kind of speaking about it from afar as if we're not like really a part of it. I mean, yeah, we can speak about mentorship and things like that, but I thought we were talking about when it comes to like us choosing men and women, so not necessarily from the mentorship level. So when I think about the hierarchy, like starting even in high school, going to college, and things like that, those 20% are not only looked at by the women, but they're looked up to by the 80% of the men. Like the 80% of the men be all bowing down and getting all giggly when those niggas be talking and showing extra respect. So the women follow suit, like, oh snap, okay, that's the big dog in the room. So they kind of like follow suit. And from my perspective, they follow suit like that until they get to a certain age. And then at that certain age, when the respect lines are blurred, Now it's like, oh, y'all been looking in that direction the whole time and I've been right here. No, you were kind of bowing down looking in that direction too. So we kind of follow suit in that way. So that's my perspective as to the whys.
Yeah, but as a man who got a couple babies, I just like to say, I think you can't get mad. The women are picking their baby daddies, right? So knocking off the men that they picking is just crazy. Either and the men who are fortunate enough to get the women are just adapting to what the women like, and the other men just can't adapt but can't keep up, or just physically or genetically just can't become what the women like. But the men who can become what the women like will become what the women like. Men are doing it for the women. So to knock the men off for getting the women is crazy. Just change the women mind. I mean,
It
if you
also,
but
it also,
Right,
they like the tall niggas
right.
with money
Why?
and a big dick. Like, so those the niggas gonna get all the women. So why you mad? That's what
so
they
it,
like.
Right.
it also goes into it also goes into women can't think for themselves. Because if you're asking me to clean up a mess that you made, then how will you learn? I mean, seriously. I mean, we also live in a civilized, country, right? So if I murder a man that's a degenerate, even though I did the community a service, now I'm arrested. So that's one good man off the board, one fuck nigga off the board, and so on and so forth. So like that logic is like very um flawed in a lot of different ways, and kind of like Baghdaddy was saying, and y'all know I don't really bang with his philosophies, but it's actually valid. You chose that man, so how are you putting the burden of correcting your mistake on men?
Well, I
Like,
mean, I don't know, kid. In a way, that philosophy probably would work if it continued on. If it's only 20% of them and 80% of y'all,
I mean,
they
but
would
hold
be
on, but
wiped
but
out
hold on.
before y'all wiped out.
I
Oh,
mean,
man. They'll
I
be
mean,
wiped out. They'll be wiped out if y'all stop having. If literally,
yeah,
literally, if you don't have children with them, they're wiped out right then and there. Like all you got to do is
right.
not have kids with them, and it's over. 100% complete. It's over. It's done.
Yeah, because I was going to say, like, to Merck's point, you know how easy it is to make the right choice of a man versus a wrong one? You have all of these examples of what a bad fucking man is, and yet and still you will say, I was duped. I was manipulated. I was tricked. And the truth is, you were. Because you weren't smart enough, little rabbit. So next time, be smarter. 18 contraceptions, right? 18 different ones, and yet and still you don't know how to not let a nigga fuck you and come inside of your vagina? My body, my choice. My body, my choice. My body, my choice. Keep that same energy. Your body, you chose to do what the fuck you wanted to for it, so you gotta stand on it. Don't give your child to grandmom. Don't give it to Auntie TT. Raise your fucking children and tell them the truth. Stop lying to your children. Your daddy wasn't shit, and your daddy is this, that, and the third. Say first and foremost, mommy should have did better. That's why I told my fucking son, yo, son, like, yeah, I mean, I ain't make the best decision of picking your mom, bro. But it's me and you. Your children really would admire that fucking honesty. But when you live in a country where all of your mistakes has an excuse for it, oh, I had a baby, abortion. Oh, I'm pregnant, child support, and the list goes on and on. I married this nigga, but now I'm not happy anymore. Divorce, fucking alimony. There's always a fucking benefit for your mistake. So you will never learn how to be accountable because it's always given. It's all right. You're just a woman and you're not smart enough and you're not, bright enough to fix your own problem. So let us fix it for you. That's essentially what that is. Oh, I don't know how to pick a man, so why don't you eliminate all the fuck niggas for me so we can pick better? No, you pick better.
But I
You
was
prove
saying that early,
yourself.
Pepe. Baghdaddy, Baghdaddy. I was saying that early. You was in the room. I was basically saying the same thing. Like, you can't depend on no man to stick around. You can't, because the kids came out of our bodies. So a man is only gonna be around until that relationship is gone. Or not all men. Some men gonna stick around still. But you can't depend on nobody to stay around just because you had kids by them. They came out of our bodies first. So, well, they came out of y'all body first, but we decided to have the babies. So at the end of the day, it's messed up, but some women gotta know how to be okay with whatever happens later on after you conceive that child. And that's what I was. I was okay with that. Like when I got pregnant, I told myself, I said, self, no, he ain't gotta stick around. You know, it's a possibility. He might stay around for a while, but then he might go. And I told myself, I said, self, but that's okay. If he decide to go, I got God and I got my team that God gave me. I got my helpers in life, you know?
Exactly.
So you got to be okay with that. And a lot of women don't be okay with that. They crash out. They don't protect the kids. They blame the men for why their lives are where they at, you know, and they don't take accountability. And I'm just one of those women that was like, shit, with or without a man, I'm going to be happy. I got my 3 kids. By one man, you know, I didn't hop around and I'm not judging nobody to do. But I thank God every day for the 3 kids I got on this journey. And it's
And
just a
that's
lot
big
of
mama
women,
status.
a lot of women are not happy with that. That's why a lot of these teenage boys are dying because the moms don't care. The moms get to a point where they say they tired and they let they 15, 16-year-old boys run the streets. You know, and I hate that because us as mothers, we supposed to be the protectors. Like, I'm a protector. I'm crazy. Like, I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puff, especially when it comes down to my 16 that's about to be 17-year-old. She be like, Mama, I'm going. Can I go to the movies tonight? I be like, I don't care. You know I'm sitting outside. You know, my son, he be like, Mom, you know, he really stay in his room. You know, but if he decide to go, I'd be like, you trying to go to that little party and little friends? You know I'm gonna sit my ass outside. We have to learn how to be protectors and not be women that just sit on our backs and allow our kids to just go out there. I see
Thank
kids that are 10 and 11, they're walking with backpacks on, and it's like, these are 4th and 3rd graders. Where's the mothers or where's the fathers? And I
thank
get it, a lot of mothers be like, well, oh, what about the fathers? But like Pepe said, the fathers didn't want no accountability or responsibility from the jump. They didn't want it. So how are we going to blame some people that never even wanted to be fathers from the beginning? You know, so like you
and
said,
there are
it's
signs.
all of this Yeah, go ahead. I'm good. I said my point. Thanks for letting me, you know, I'm
Can
a
I,
mod, but still.
can I,
And there and I'm gonna just say this because it's on both sides of the fence. There are signs. We choose to ignore them. That's on us. A man can try to manipulate your mind and talk all of this. Oh, I'm intelligent and I want a family and this, that, and the third. But watch his lifestyle. Watch the type of people he congregate with, and listen to how people respond, and talk about that man himself. If his friends is talking about, no, I don't really see Papa as a family man type of dude. So you mean to tell me in your delusional mind, everybody else is seeing something different than you? You gotta own that, sis. Same thing with the brothers. Oh, she got a whole bunch of male friends, and she go out every weekend, and she dressed like this, that, and the third. But no, not my bitch, cause we all know 1 or 2 homies is gonna tell these niggas, not my bitch. I don't know about y'all, but not my girl. And your girl the main one going. So you know what most guys do? We do the same thing women do. All right, go ahead and let that nigga see for himself. But when the shit hit the ceiling and she bust your car windows out and she start acting crazy and she had your baby and she don't let you see that motherfucker, you can't come on Clubhouse talking about these bitches ain't shit. No, nigga, you stuck your dick in the wrong bitch and you knew you did. But because you wanted to feel that raw pussy and you lack self-control and you nutted in that smut bitch, this is the result. So don't cry now. Respectfully.
I'm gonna say
yeah, but I have
respectfully.
most sympathy for the men because men are the only ones having oops babies. Women are only having the babies they want to have. They killing the ones they don't want to have. Like abortion is way up. So they know that this guy's baby. They know who this guy is, and they choosing to go the whole 9 months and have that baby. So you really can't blame nobody but them for the situation. They are seeing this guy's actions and his words and all of this and who this guy is. Once she's pregnant, he might say, I don't want the baby, and she have it anyway. But women are only having the babies that they want. If they don't like you, they not having your baby. So you can't blame the baby daddies because they are the most select men. They the men, the women want to have babies by. The women say, come in me, nut in me, get me pregnant. They say this to these men.
Is
They
it safe to say,
with
King, that
babies.
women are only having babies by men to try to keep them? Is that what it is? Are you guys stating that women are trying to have babies to keep a nigga baby? Is that what it is?
Not necessarily.
Nunu, you
Sometimes
back starting trouble, Nunu?
they want the
Nunu,
baby.
is you back starting trouble, Nunu?
You know it, Amen. Yes, you know how I am. I'm a troller / realist.
They might not want the nigga, but they want his baby. So you can't blame the nigga. Because that's the one they want. That's the one they letting go in them raw. That's the one that's nothing in them, and then they keeping the baby when they could have killed it. So you can't blame the men. The men are just the men that the women like, and just because 80% of the women like 20% of the men, you can't blame the men for that. You got to talk to the 80% of the women. Because if you do, you just killing men for being able to be what women want them to be in order to procreate, in order to have relationships, in order they just being what they. So if the women want men that dress a certain way or act a certain way, some men adapt. They dress that way, they act that way, they talk that way, and they get the women. And
Mm-mm-mm.
some men don't
I
adapt,
don't know
they
what
don't get
happened.
the
The app
women,
just
so
glitched
they don't
on
get to
me.
pass their genes on to the future. And you think those men should get rid of the men because the women still not gonna like those men. And then what they gonna get rid of all the niggas with swag, all the niggas with big dicks, all the niggas with money. Like how you that don't even make sense.
And I got a question, brothers. When do we hold you guys accountable? When do we ever hold you guys accountable for anything, guys? Because the come out of y'all, and y'all could be doing everything y'all can to not release that. Like for real, because I know men today that they don't just come in anything. They don't want baby by anything, and they don't just come in anything. And they practice safe sex. And at one point, as you guys being men, you guys are the leaders, and leaders take accountability first and foremost. I've been a leader before. I'm a leader at my job. So if something goes wrong, I have to take accountability. It's my fault if the people under me are not doing what they're supposed to do, because all the smoke comes back to me as a leader. So when is it safe to say that when is it safe for you guys to take accountability for some of this stuff? Because even though the baby comes out and the baby's here, don't you guys care enough to protect the men? Like I told you, I was that scared little girl when my daddy used to come over to the house. I'm scared of shit. And I'm still scared to this day. My daddy's gone, honey, dead and gone. And I'm a 40-year-old woman, baby. And if my daddy show up, I'm going to feel like that little girl again. Like, oh, daddy, what are you doing? Are you here to cause problems? But what it was he scared me so much to where I don't even play in the streets. That's all my daddy wanted me and my brother to realize. He used to tell us, you think these motherfucking streets is something to play on? He used to say, you think life is a joke? I mean, he was something scary. And still to this day, I don't play around in the streets. I don't. I go to work, I go home. Every once in a while, I move. I might go somewhere, a little social hall. But I don't play around out here in these streets. So when is it safe to say that you guys can take accountability for some of this stuff too,
The
fellas?
crazy thing
So
is, we've
can I
been
can
taking
I
our
respond,
accountability.
Papa?
Yeah, go
Oh,
ahead,
go ahead,
bro.
go ahead.
Go ahead. You got it.
Okay, so I appreciate that, Nunu, and this is the nuance that I really, really, really want to share, and I really want to express this. Um, this is the exact statement that you made. The reason that that's valuable is the intentional reason that women are removing that from their children's life. Do you understand? It's not an accident that women are removing men from their children's life, whether it's through the system, whether it's through their behavior, like whether it's through just whatever. They're trying to make sure that the children are vulnerable. They use the children as a form of attack on the man because they know hurting the child hurts him, right? So it's not that men are incapable of seeing this. This is why we know we're so important. But this is the exact same thing that women are intentionally, and not just the children's moms, but the grandmothers are intentionally removing the men from the homes. Go ahead. I just wanted to say that.
All right. So, but what I'm saying is when do you guys? I know I hear what you're saying. Don't think that I don't. But what I'm saying is, what do you guys take accountability for? Do you guys take accountability for any of that though? Like
Yeah.
anything? Like, what
Yes.
about the
Yes.
women that are shaking their ass and doing the shit that they're doing on social media? Do you guys feel like that some of that attention that they're wanting, because they're trying to seek attention? Do you accountability for anything? Because you know, like, okay, one day
No,
I had
none
this
of
dude.
Are
that.
you asking
Listen,
No.
one day,
random
listen,
guys
listen,
You
for
listen,
going too
listen,
shit?
far,
Can I
dude. You
answer
going
this
listen,
Hold on.
too
Let her
far,
finish.
listen,
dude.
Let her
listen,
finish.
listen. Thank you. One day I had the dude ask me, he said, if you was a man for one day, what would you do? I laughed my ass off. He said, if you was, I said, shit, I'd be having my head out the window trying to holler at as many females as I could. So what I'm saying is women wants to be like men. Not all women, but a lot of women are trying to be like you guys. Do you guys feel that? Do you guys see it? How women are going
Absolutely.
around, they're actually being gay. They think they can be more, they think they can be like you guys. They don't want to allow you guys to lead. They think they can lead a family. They think they can go open up their legs to any and anybody. They want to be controlling over the situation. Is it safe to say that women are trying to be like you guys?
Absolutely.
So what do we do here? There's a problem here. Because if the women are trying to be
Uh,
like you guys and you guys are supposed to be in walking in some kind of image, we want to be like you guys. So in order for
That's her
us to
fault.
be like you guys,
hey, no,
and
no.
stay in our femininity, you guys have to show us something to look up to.
It's
You
You,
I'm
you,
guys
No,
are the
sorry.
that's
you,
not how
leaders.
you
that
Go
throwing
works.
too
ahead.
That's not
much
You,
how
Let's
out
that
let's
there.
do
but
works.
what I
you,
hold
have
on.
to
No,
So
no.
That's not how that
you
works. Can I
guys
say
are
this
the
really,
leaders
please?
though of
Oh my
this.
God.
That's not
Hold
how
on, no,
that
no.
Yeah,
works.
Let's
I
Can I
think
get
let's let's
women
start a queue.
are
Let's start a
leaders,
queue real quick.
and have always been leaders.
Let's start a queue real quick,
We gonna
Jackie. Let's
start a
start a queue
queue.
real
Let the
quick.
men go first,
Yeah, yeah,
Jackie.
yeah.
Hold
Let's
on.
let's
Can
let
I?
nah
Because it was for them. So
I'll let
hold on. I want to
Diabolical.
hear from them,
Let's switch it
Jackie.
up. Let's switch it up. Let's switch it up. Let's do Diabolical. Then Sue just got to the
Because
stage.
I'm
What up,
trying to
Sue?
wake it up. Let me
Yeah,
know.
let's wake it up. Let's wake it
Let's
up.
we waking it up. Ping up and let's wake it
Look,
up.
Diabolical, then Sue, then Papa, then Jackie, and if any other fellas want to give the mic to the feminine, then by all means. But let's go by that order real quick, and see if we can get some structure to this because you done woke it up.
Yeah, I don't think anything has been woken up. I think it's easy to ask a bunch of random people who they're going to take accountability, who they're going to hold accountable, and people normally do that when they don't have real solutions. The only person you can ever hold accountable is yourself and how you live your life. There ain't no group of men out there that I can walk up to and hold accountable. I think the people that are living life reckless are over there mixing and mingling with the people that are holding life reckless. I used to be out there in them streets, and one thing I never complained about was hoes. I loved hoes. Never complained about them. Never judged them. Never called them names. Was never mean to them because that's the life that I was living. And now that I don't live that life anymore, I don't look back on those people and judge them and say, oh, I'm going to hold them accountable. No, everyone has a right to live their life the way that they want to. Another thing is with women trying to be men. Ain't no women trying to be men. That's crazy. Can't no woman be no man. Even like you said, if a woman is a lesbian, what does that have to do with being a man? That just lets me know that women don't even know what a man is. You just look at other women doing random things or living a life that you don't agree with, and you say, "Well, they're trying to be men." How? And if you do hold that frame of thought, you just said you're a leader at your job. Is that you trying to be a man? And if that's something that you're against, then maybe you should quit your job. I don't see
I just
women.
feel like
I don't see
men.
women trying to be
Well, I
men.
hear a lot of men accusing
It's
women.
Sue. It's on Sue.
I just feel like you asked me a question, so I just want to kind of ease this in before you guys finish the queue. But I hear a lot of men blaming women for like teenage boys being killed. I hear a lot of men blaming women for a lot of things. And I'm just saying, I need men to stop doing that and hold, like you said, Diabolical. Everybody needs to hold themselves to their individual accountability. Like Michael Jackson said, everybody need to look at their own self in the mirror. As a leader, I'm not going to blame my VCs because I'm over them, or I'm not going to blame the people that are under me if shit fuck up. If my boss come to me and say, hey, this is what's going on the floor, it's gonna be my fault. It trickles down to me, so I just want everybody to take accountability too and stop blaming. And you even said that out of your words, out of your mouth, Diabolical, that you ain't gonna blame or judge nobody for living the life that they want to live. But you hear a bunch of men that are so-called leaders that want to lead blaming women for everything, and that's where all of that come from.
And I would blame they sorry asses too. For the simple fact that we got a lot of fellas telling us what it is that they want and what they're looking for in a woman in a woman, and we choose to go the opposite way. We say that he's too feminine, he's too soft. Where's the real leaders? And the real leaders is telling you, mama, you overweight. Let's get this shit together. Y'all used to not be like that. Y'all wasn't like that before. Let's get that together. Mama, listen to what I'm trying to tell you. This is what I'm trying to show you. Oh, well, I've been doing this all my life and I've been doing this for 20 something years by myself. I don't got to listen to you. We hear them telling us or attempting to lead, but we so much, and this is where I disagree with Diabolical, we so much trying to be like a man because we've been doing it for so fucking long that we don't know how to sit back and let him lead and let him do what he got to do. You know what I'm saying? So who do we blame for that? We blame them for doing their best and trying to get us on program and trying to get us to, be on a timing, or do we blame ourselves because we continue this pattern of I'd rather be alone or I'd rather do it by myself or whatever. It's like how I see it, it's like they're damned if they do and damned if they don't. And honestly, the more I listen on this app, because I've been here since the beginning, 6 years, and I've seen the transition and I've grown on an individual scale. This app has taught me to sit back and just be more of a listener than a talker, because I used to be one of those women that, let's just put it like this. I used to be one of those women that didn't really care about or value what my brothers had to say. Let's put it like that. I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? When you grow up with a single mother trying to figure it out with a daughter, you start picking up certain behaviors, right? Because you don't see that balance, right? You don't see that male figure in the household all like that. But when I sat back and I listened to my ladies on this app, and I sat back and I listened to my brothers on this app, I found that I align more with my brothers than I do my sisters. And so, no, I'm not a girl's girl because I don't co-sign fuck shit. So at the end of the day, ladies, we are the ones that are in control of who enters us. Not only are we in control of who enters us, we are in control of who enters us what? Raw. You're in control of that. You can sit up here and try to spin that shit on him all day long, but at the end of the day, two adults When you play with sex, the joke is on the offspring, but it bounces back at the mother because at the end of the day, you control who goes in you. You control that, not him. You, your body, your choice, right? Oh, I. So let's hold on to that. Let's hold on to that when it gets to that point. Okay. Let's hold on to that when it gets to that point. Because at the end of the day, you allowed that raw meat to run up in you. You didn't tell him, oh no, nah, no glove, no love. You wanted to feel that raw thing on your walls too. So let's stop. We gonna have an honest conversation. Let's have an honest conversation. Well, tsunami, I hate to tell you this, but I'm allergic to latex. Bitch, bye. Okay, bitch, bye.
Some
Well,
men out here
tsunami.
saying that too, Tsunami.
Well, then no glove, no love. No glove. Hold on. Like no glove, no
Hold
love.
on.
Then it's
I
as
Hold
guess you
on.
simple
don't.
as that.
They
I guess
say
you
Hold
don't
on.
need
Hold
to
on.
be
Hold on,
fucking
microscopic.
y'all.
until you get married,
Why?
then,
They
huh?
say
Why
Hold
y'all
on.
it's
interrupting me?
microscopic.
Why?
Hold on.
My
Hold on.
Why
bad,
Hold
y'all
on.
Tasami.
inter? Why y'all
What is
interrupting me
happening
Yeah,
for?
right
it's his
now?
turn, and then Papa next.
Did I struck a
What is
nerve? I usually
happening
do
right
that.
You ain't
now?
struck
I
no nerve.
usually do
You
that.
ain't
Hold
struck
I
a
on.
nerve.
usually
Let
do.
her cook.
I
Let
usually
her
do.
cook.
I
She
usually
cooking.
do.
She cooking
Let
on
her
all six
cook.
burners. All
Let
Man,
the
six of
bread
them things.
because it's the truth. Like at the end of the day, it's the truth. We are the ones that control access to our womb. We control that. So to put that on somebody else, it's like, girl, you don't have no. So you mean to tell me in 2026, at my big ass age of 32, going on 33, I have no control over who goes in me? Then that means that we need to have a bigger
Mhm.
conversation. That means that I need to have a bigger conversation with something. Because what do you mean I don't have no control over who
And
goes in
Sue,
me?
that's the problem. And that's the problem
What do you
right
mean?
there. Having to have minute conversations with grown ass adults. Like everybody is so smart, right? I'm gonna try to keep it plain. A wise man once said, once you come into the understanding of a thing, you're now responsible. Condoms, plan B, contracept, 18 fucking different contraceptions, right? There's no excuse. You were too lazy to do to take the necessary steps to prevent an outcome that is unfavorable to you. So because you were too lazy, you have to stand on it. And
But they
again,
say those break, Papa. Those break.
oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, boo-hoo. So fucking sorry for you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yup. Moving forward, right? Oh, the condom broke, et cetera, whatever excuse people like, because let's keep it a beam. We love a good victim. We love a good underdog and we love a good victim. And that's black folk. In total totality. So much so to the point where motherfuckers will argue that they have more trauma than you. As if it's supposed to be a badge of honor. Oh, nigga, you ain't been through shit. I used to eat roaches out of a bowl. You're just like, nigga, why the fuck? Like, I'm sorry. Like, our mentality, right, really needs to be studied. How far gone how we got here. We literally were the masters of the planet. We go everywhere and we make shit better. We literally do. But now it's it's a phenomenon that just can't seem to be broken. If good men, leaders, like you said, are telling women, yo, slow down, don't do it like this, do it like this, and they say, fuck you, nigga, and you are letting me know you are conscious of information that's being given to you. So when I see you have a baby by a fuck nigga, I have to then hold you accountable and say, sis, I can't let you talk about that fuck nigga. He been a fuck nigga. You're the one who rejected all the sound information that came your way and you chose to go that way. We gotta stop blaming other people for our mistakes and our actions just to make us feel good. Like I have conversations with single mothers all the time, and they're tough conversations, very tough. But I'm having these conversations not out of putting you down, but because I love you. I think, and I've really been pondering on this. I think the key to all of this is empathy. The ability to take our shoes off and put somebody else's shoes on and say, I see it from your perspective. Even if, however fucked up it may be, I understand what you're going through. Because no, it's not easy being a single mother. Once you make that mistake, it's irreversible. It's not easy how the world perceives you after that fucking point. It's not. It's just not. But how loving and compassionate are we for one another that we can see each other through our mistakes? It's almost like everybody's looking for the perfect fucking person. Fuck all of that. Or she had a baby by another nigga. But how is she showing up currently? Is this who she really is, character wise, or is she a fucked up individual? I think those are the conversations we need to start having, both men and women. Because niggas, I hear niggas talk about this shit all the time as if that's supposed to be a badge of honor. I used to be in the streets, but I'm a reformed man. Are you? Or are you saying it because a lot of women tend to gravitate towards men like that? Keep it a buck. Keep it a buck, because everybody's intentions and motives aren't always genuine and pure. And that's the biggest fucking that's the biggest challenge. Who the fuck are you really? Who are you when nobody's around? That's the person I'm most interested in getting to know. So empathy and being genuine, having compassion and love for one another, that's how we fix this shit. Not the 20% versus the 80%. If the 80% have decent characters and personalities, then sis, you just gotta throw away all the superficial shit. His height, his dick size, respectfully, it doesn't serve you in your life in the way that you think that it is. It just doesn't. So if you're putting all of your eggs in baskets such as those, then yeah, you deserve what the old folks say, have the day that you deserve, right? Have the day that you deserve.
And keep in mind, two adults playing with sex, keyword play, right? The joke, haha, on offspring.
She said that before. I think that's a very important takeaway from what she said. I think that's, if not the most important, but um what's going to happen when, where's my daddy? What's you have to have that conversation. So this goes back to what I was saying earlier. Um if you are involved with a man, at what point in time do you commit yourself to saying we're going to get married? Is it 1 year? Is it 2 years? Is it 4 months? When do you, like, if you starting to have relations? And I know you put the eyes up, Sue. But what I want to know is, at what point are you going to say, hey, I think we should start doing things on a level of getting married? And if you're doing things like having sex, premarital sex, then you're setting yourself up for, like you said, Sue. I know you put the eyes up, but if you having sex, I don't care if you're wearing a condom or not, you setting yourself up to be a baby mama if you're not married. And this is just the reality check when we start dealing with this whole relationship thing.
Because I also wanted to address the other question by Nunu that I
Okay,
forgot to.
are you answering the time frame? What are you at? What are you
Yeah,
actually
so
answering?
both. I would say um, about 2 years, because that gives you enough time to really get to know each other. And because you have to understand, the honeymoon period can last anywhere from like 6 months to a year. Um, and that's when you're both, you know, naturally showing your best selves, getting to know each other. But there are a lot of deceitful men and women who use that honeymoon period to really hide their flaws. And flaws are normal, right? But you have to decide what flaws you're willing to accept, because no one's perfect. So I think a couple of years gives you enough time to settle into the relationship and, you know, have different things test your relationship to see if you two are right for each other. That's what I think. And I just want to quickly say, I do think that women are natural leaders. There was something that someone said, a couple people said earlier, that women give really bad relationship advice. And actually, I looked it up. Statistically, that's not true. Women give great advice because the way they approach it, it's very carefully, and it's not overconfident. Um, and more, we're seeing women leaders, and that we honestly would benefit from more leadership from women, just like back in the ancient times when that was more prevalent. So I just wanted to address that since I didn't get an opportunity to.
But people gotta be willing to shut up and follow.
Hold on one second, Papa, because somebody in the comments said that 2 years is still not enough. You won't know someone until you live with them, and even then, it's still a learning process. My thing is,
Yeah, I agree.
within that, you agree with that? Okay. My thing is
Yeah.
too, though, because I think sex is very important within this. Because I'm saying you can say 2 years. I think too, though, that if you've exchanged that sacred energy, you had that sacred energy exchange. I think you've kind of compromised certain things too. So that's another thing. Like from the very beginning, I think we got to start having certain morals and certain standards. I think that if you're going to do a relationship thing, right, and you want to get married, then you shouldn't have sex. Now, how realistic is that in 2026? I think it depends on what spiritual institution that you are in that's reinforcing those morals and values. Because if you out here in the world, uh, you're going to kind of like subscribe to what the world is putting out there and promoting. So 2 years living with each other, no sex, is that realistic, y'all? Is it? I mean, can we
I just
do it?
think 2 years at minimum.
Now I'm asking you, is it no sex within that 2 years? Because he might it, it, you know
No,
I
I
heard.
think sex is fine. In those
So you
2
can have
years.
sex
I
even though
think
you're not married.
abstinence is also great, but I think
So
sex is fine in a relationship with
so you
each
saying
other.
you can have sex with this man before you get married?
I believe in sex before marriage. I'm not opposed to it, but I also support people who abstain. It just depends on the person and the relationship.
Anybody agree or disagree with that?
I mean, oh man, this is difficult for me because understanding that sex is the marriage is is that's my perspective. Like once you have sex, like that's the significant like point where your souls are tied, your spirit is tied, you're connected, and you're making a vow. So that goes back to just the understanding of what the hymen is and breaking the hymen, being a blood covenant, going down that path. It it's just that sacred. Like that's why I said sex is the end all be all because of the dynamic that it is. So the point is to get to sex. Um, and I think that we've taken these vain routes, carnal routes to like approach that whole relationship. And so we get these vain results. I think to anybody who doesn't have that perspective, my question would be, well, what is your purpose of a relationship? Because if the relationship is sexual in nature, um, but y'all aren't approaching to safeguard the fruit of that relationship, then you know, what are we really doing? We just playing. Like it's just a game. We just serving our vanity at this point. But to each his own for sure. But that's marriage and sex are the same thing for me. Once you even if you get married, like you're not officially married until you have sex. So and that goes back to even the first point that she made about giving advice. Like
women definitely don't give, and I specifically said to men, for men to get relationship advice from women is detrimental to men. Um, and I don't know too many. I don't know any man that would disagree with me. Um, so I just
I'm
wouldn't
just
wouldn't
looking
take
at the
that advice.
stats.
Right, but you didn't mention any actual statistics. Like you mentioned, it was
I can mention them if you'd like.
how advice was given, but when you look at the relationships and the advice that's given to women on relationships, that's given to men in relationships right now, um, the best advice that you could get would be from a man, and
That's
how
not
to
what the
approach it.
statistics show. I'm just saying. I mean, you might be talking about, maybe a certain group of people.
Well, I could just talk about what I just heard from a woman on relationships. You
Right,
know what
but
I'm
that's what
saying?
I'm
Like
saying.
I
You're
could just
doing
do
it
that.
by one person or two people. That's not what the average stats show. I'm just talking about the average. That's all.
And Jackie didn't get a chance to speak. Jackie, did you ever get your chance to speak?
I didn't, but I kind of slipped it in there by just saying that, I do believe women are able to be leaders without wanting to be men. I did want to also say that most women, they're not trying to be men. What they're trying to do is have independence, which we're all entitled to. I have actually a master's in leadership and human resources management. There are a lot of stats that show women the world would benefit with more women leaders. And I think we're going to see that, as we get more women leadership, especially in politics, because obviously where we're going right now isn't the greatest, and there's a lot of men in these leadership roles. So, I mean, the proof is kind of in the pudding, but we can agree to disagree. It's totally fine. But I'm just looking at what the stats show in women. They make great leaders.
I agree with you, Jackie, wholeheartedly. But you see what happened, during the time where it was, the votes for Kamala and Trump.
Right.
Are gonna allow that. That's something that the world does not want. And I hate to say it, predominant other races, white people, white men, and white women, they don't want women getting up there doing that. I mean, of
They
course,
don't.
Keep bringing
if you
up
got a
Kamala.
degree in leadership,
Boy,
by all means, that's what you
Mhm.
do.
they
I'm a
love
lead
bringing
at my
her up.
job. We have our certain, we have our times where we're leaders, but in the family, being the head of the household and making decisions, no, men
Well,
does not want that. They don't
that's
want that.
they don't want it. But the thing is, women have always been the head of the household in terms of keeping the household together. While men
I'm
maybe
getting
came
ready to
in,
be at
women
Planet Fitness, so
when
I'm gonna be quiet again. Me and my
yeah, sure.
daughter's
Actually, girl, I'm about to go to Planet Fitness myself. I'm getting ready.
girl, look at TJ, Jackie, girl, yes, but I'm gonna still be here listening in and out.
Look,
Okay,
I'm
cool.
about to PTR from I'm about to
I just
PTR from the gym too. Let's go.
hell yeah. I just wanted to say
I'm
like
a
so
PTR too, guys, when I get
my
there.
my grandfather, he was always the head of the household, working in factories, very hard worker from the Midwest. And my grandmother, she was the head of the household, taking care of people. And when she passed away, like he just completely crumbled. She took care of everything, like managing the books, the finances, while he made the money. And she took care of everybody, the kids. She had 7 8 children. Big family. I have a lot of uncles and aunts. And he was like a totally different person. And they stayed together for a very, very long time, until death. And but it was still a toxic relationship. He was very abusive. And in those times, women were more likely to stay in those relationships because divorce was frowned upon. But now that that's more of an option and it's not as frowned upon, women have that opportunity to leave those relationships. So that's where you're seeing a lot of the breakdowns as well. But he wasn't the same. He got into drinking and pill popping, and so women have
God,
always played a part in keeping a man strong as well, and I think that's something that should be remembered.
they
So
long
that's all I
winded
wanted
than
to
a
say.
motherfucker.
So I have a question, right? Whenever we reference like back in the day and like these abusive relationships and stuff like
Hmm.
that, my question is, as a generation of people, are we better off now versus thin? Because here's something that I want to pose, and please understand me when I say this. Like, I love women, and I don't think that they should go through certain things. But when it comes to being a leader, sometimes leader has to do some things that's not favorable to him, but it benefits others. I have a saying in my room: there's good kings and there are bad kings. Sometimes you have to sacrifice for the greater good. We see it with heroes, superheroes, et cetera, so on and so on. So let's just say, hypothetically speaking, her sacrifice, the abuse, the verbal abuse, maybe even the physical abuse, instilled in her children hardworking, dedication, commitment, et cetera, et cetera. But a generation of people who aren't willing to sacrifice, not even for their children, has created a community, a race of people, really, that's just going nowhere. So my question is it more beneficial to sacrifice for the next group, or is it more beneficial to just please self?
I think it's always important to make sacrifices. You can't have any success in this life if you don't make some kind of sacrifice. Um, if you're saying, should women sacrifice being abused to keep a family together, stable? I think that you can still have a family dynamic if a woman were to leave a abusive relationship, and the father still wants to be in their kids' lives. I don't think
Absolutely.
that a woman should stay in a relationship like that.
But I'm not giving you a out. It's one or two options, right? And I want you to make a hard decision. Would you rather a woman stay in an abusive marriage and raise pristine children, or be separated, happy with degenerate children?
Of
Which would
course,
you choose?
I would stay in the relationship to protect my kids. You know what I mean? Like, wholeheartedly. I would. I mean,
Okay,
for me personally, I was abused by my father until I was 21. So it's
I'm
nothing that
sorry to
I'm
hear
not
that.
used to.
I'm very sorry to hear that. And that's something that we need to normalize having conversations about so we can prevent it from happening. But also, too, I want to say this: you're not the average woman, and nor was that respond the average response, because that is a sign of a leader. Sometimes leaders have to make sacrifices for the greater good of the kingdom, and that's what head of household means.
Absolutely.
Head
Yeah.
of household doesn't necessarily mean you are the leader of everything that goes on. It simply means you have the final say.
Mhm.
You're responsible for the outcome, right? So, like the abusive relationships and things like that, the men are still held accountable. The men are held accountable for if his son goes to prison, his daughter grows up a whore. That's if he's present in doing that job. This is why I say to a lot of men, you don't know what the fuck it is that you're signing up for when you say you want a submissive woman, because once you take that role, guess what? Every mistake she makes is your mistake, not hers. So if we are already in a position of quote unquote leadership, and we can't really say, well, she fucking the wrong man and she having babies by the wrong people, whatever, then how can you really say that you're ready for that position? Now, it's a nuance to it, right? A woman under my jurisdiction is under my jurisdiction. So I can't be responsible for a woman who doesn't sign up for that. So it has to be a clear understanding of what marriage is, what head or household is. And I know a lot of people hate the Bible and they don't want to go by what the Bible says. But I pose this question: if you read it in its totality, in terms of marriage and its instruction, and we carry it out to a T, is it good or is it bad?
Wait, what's your question?
I said a lot of people frown upon the Bible and its instructions on marriage. And I said, but I believe if people read it to its totality and carry it out to a T, they will have a juncture. Is it good or is it bad? I believe that it's good in terms of its structure. So I got paid for it. Give me my time.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not too familiar with what it sets out for marriages, aside from just kind of like the basic foundation. And with that, I fully agree to it, especially when you're saying in sickness and in health, till death do us part. I fully believe in that. The commitment aspect and the sacrifice. Um, I definitely think every relationship is different, but and it will look different. But at some point, if you want a relationship to work, you will have to make sacrifices, because nothing is perfect. It's just what it is. And if you have something like the Bible, depending on which Bible I guess you're referencing, it is a good way to set those commitments, but there's going to be some modification in modern times. Times have changed, so people's needs are also changing. So I really think it just depends on the person and what they both agree on. But that means they have to be very honest with each other and communicate right from the get-go, instead of pretending to be something that they're not and wasting both of each other's times.
I second that. I can talk about this like all day because it's like I've lived it.
Because you stole it from my phone, so I don't have it anymore. So I'm coming in as a guest under.
No, I'll come in as a guest. Already did. I can.
What about me?
Where's this right here? Right here. Perfect. You good? All right, thanks. All right. I'm gonna go first.
Ready to do what I need to do first.
Like there's sacrifices. There's a lot of sacrifices I have to make right now.
All right, girl, I did this.
Like I have to deal with chronic illness, and it sucks ass, but I have to keep doing what I have to do, work and
Chippy, don't worry about it. The people who have chronic illnesses, we are the most healthiest people. We're more healthier than people who are healthy. So don't even worry about it, girl. I literally just ran up in Planet Fitness. They got music in here. I kicked ass coming up in
hell
here.
yes.
Butt getting thicker, stomach getting flatter. Girl, I'm telling you, girl, I look good for 40.
Hell yes.
Feel
I
healthy,
love to hear it.
everything.
I love to hear
Yeah.
it. I love to hear it. And like when I was looking at some of the stats, and I was told this by someone a week or so ago, that women who are like severely ill, are being given pamphlets that say they're like 6 times more likely to be left by their partners. And I double checked the stats, and it's still saying that 80% of relationships are still successful even with sickness, illness in the household. But it is a scary reality, and that was part of the reality that the relationship when I was in that 10-year relationship. He wasn't someone that was strong enough to protect me or himself. I was actually doing kind of like the protecting, and he would always say that he needed me to motivate him. And that was at the time when I was starting my master's program and going to work full time. And it was the beginning stages of my health getting worse. And I was like, dude, I'm barely able to motivate myself right now. It's so important to be able to give back to each other, especially in a situation like that. And so that's why my standards have gotten a lot higher, because my stakes are a lot higher. And it's another reason why I chose to wait to have children, because I wasn't ready. And then having health issues on top of that, I wanted to make sure that I was at least stable, financially and physically. Um, so it's definitely not easy, because my situation is a lot more difficult, but it's still very possible. And now now that I have a direction of where I'm going with my business, I'm actually more focused on trying to have a family, like start a family. over the next couple of years. My cousin, who is a psychic, and I usually don't believe in that, but she's gotten a lot of things correct, claims that if I choose the path that I'm going to be getting married this year. I say, girl, you're out of your damn mind. But I wouldn't be opposed to finding the right person and then taking my time. But I still do want that family, dynamic, even though I do want a career. I'm not the stay at home, just stay at home without working kind of person. Like I do want to stay at home with my children in the beginning, and while also, doing my business from home, but I'm not the cook and clean type. So we're going to have to get some assistance. Otherwise my man's going to have to be a cook. So
So Jackie,
that's just not me. Go
do
ahead.
you have children now?
No, I specifically waited because I didn't want to be a single parent, and because of the options that I had at the time.
So if a man was interested in you,
Mhm.
and I don't want to get into the age thing because that's not what we do, but if he was interested in you at this juncture in your life and he wanted to have children, would you be willing to have children for that man if that's one of the things that he wanted?
If I felt that this man was willing to protect me as much as I would be willing to protect them, and I felt safe with them and saw a future, absolutely. At this point, yes, I definitely would, because I'm more prepared and ready for that now than I was while I'm still building my business, for sure.
Okay. Another question, and this is not just to you, Jackie. I just want to put it out to all of the women that's in the room. So we know that the most educated person in this country is the black woman, the most educated. She's, when it comes to getting degrees, her accomplishments in education, she's top tier when it comes to that. With that being said, um, some of these positions, uh, based on just systemic arrangements, and also based on men not carrying their weight and being ambitious and putting themselves in positions of power, uh, it creates an imbalancement insofar as uh, women earning more than men. Um, how how do you deal with that situation as a woman, or do you not deal with it at all? Just want to put that out to the women.
Sure. How do we deal with what? Could you rephrase your question, honey?
So if you're making more than the man, I asked this earlier. If you're making more than the man, but you want to be with this man, what's the solution? Or if there is no solution, you just got to get a man that's making the same or more than you.
I don't mind if I'm the head like person, or if I'm bringing in more. I think as long as we're equally contributing in some way, that doesn't matter. As long as they're working, or putting in their value. I don't think, for me anyway, I don't think a man has to make as much or more than me, just because, like I said, like times have changed a lot, and because of the economy being a lot worse than it used to be, it's been necessary for women, especially Black women, to um, get more education so they could get better jobs and bring in more income. So I don't have that particular standard that they have to make as much or more, but that's just me.
Now,
Hey, how y'all doing?
hold on one second. Oh, peace and blessings, sister. I just want to ask this one question. Do you really think that most Black women are respecting men who are not making more, or at least the same amount as them? Realistically, I want to.
No, I don't. I don't. And that goes to what I was saying earlier about the expectation that's kind of being set today, being very high. And I feel bad for men with that, expectation kind of being unrealistic in the economy that we're in. I don't think, I think that there's a lot of women who expect dudes to be straight balling with, you know, um, thousands on hand. I just don't think they're being very realistic with their standards. That's what I see. Um, but yeah, again, that's just me.
The other sister that was about to come off, I think it was, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it, is it Jonia? You want to say?
Yes, it's Janae. How y'all doing? I've been quiet this whole time listening. Everybody had some really good points. I definitely
Welcome,
agree
Miss
with
Janae. How do you pronounce your name, Queen?
Janae. Hi, Nunu. How are
Welcome, Miss
you?
Janae, to our stage. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me. I've been silent for a minute. I just like observing and listening to everybody's point of view. To answer the most recent question, and I feel that with social media and different outlets, it can appear as if that matters for a man to have more than a woman. Me personally, I've never really been in a situation where it had to matter. I mean, I've always had a job. Um, the person who I was with before always had a job. So it really wasn't, I feel like my tax bracket doesn't allow me to compete where I don't compare. So I'm check to check, honestly. I'm not, as far as success, I think that it's important for you to have standards, of course, but if a woman makes more than a man, I don't it shouldn't be a problem, but I noticed that from friends that are very successful in the six figures. I have one friend that she's an engineer, and it is troublesome for her to find a man, let alone date, because once they realize how much she makes, there is a certain amount of competition that is let out. So I just think that it's really case by case, to each his own. You have to be secure in your relationship, or secure, period, to even not whether to be bothered or not. I don't think it's for everybody. I think there are some men that feel away, depending on how much money we're talking.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that oftentimes it comes down to the ego issue, which is understandable because men have always been known to be the breadwinners. And but I think when a man is secure within himself and understands that he still has um, high value, it shouldn't really matter. Like I put certain things over money for me. Like I want a man that's going to be able to protect me, um, and be faithful and love me and love our children and is able to contribute. So I think it's about an individual perspective on in individual needs as well.
I totally agree. I mean, me personally, I've had oodles and noodles with a man that didn't have much, and I didn't sat in a five-star restaurant with a man that thought he had everything. So I think it's really money is not everything. You want character and substance. If a man can lead, he cannot have what he needs to have. But as a woman, behind every good man, there is a powerful woman. So I feel like if you are a powerful woman, your man is going to have regardless, because you're going to build him to make sure he has what he needs. So it really doesn't matter if he makes more than me or not, per se. I would say that, as long as he is goal driven, and like you said, Jackie, feeling safe for me is one of my main characteristics that I look for. I need a man to I would like to feel safe. I'm submissive in certain ways when it comes to relationships. I do feel like a man should lead. if you can't lead me, then where are we going? That's my take on it.
But when you say lead, what are you wanting him to like explain that when you say lead? Because you also say that, you're not too much worried of like if you was the breadwinner and he wasn't. So how can you allow somebody to lead you in the same breath of stating that if he didn't have much money and you were the breadwinner, how is that coincided with each other? Like how is that working out for you?
You are absolutely right as far as that question. When I mean lead, like I feel like in my head, if I'm single now, but I was with my son's father for 10 years and he was an engineer. He made way more than I did, but um I think it's still possible for a man to lead if you are the breadwinner, leading as far as direction. I feel like every man should have enough common sense to direct his family. Leading as far as direction, purpose, because I can't, as a woman, in my relationships personally, whether it be friendship or romantic relationships, I'm not around any man I can't learn from or grow from. There's not a man around me in my cipher that I can't look up to. So leading as far as looking up to, making sure that even if, let's say I did make more money than him, are you able to guide me with the finances that I bring in? Are you able to show me? Because I can make more than you and you can make less than me or vice versa, but I can be super horrible at credit, or I cannot be as good as a person that has nothing, but if they had it, they would probably do this with this, that, and the third with their money. So I'm leading as far as purpose and and as a man, just guidance. Um, I'm not saying that I need guidance because I already have it, but if I had a man, I would want him to lead me. I would want him to be the head of household regardless of how much money I made. Because money is a resource. It's not it come and go, it can come and go. So for me, a man really has to I'm stuttering, I'm sorry. A man really has to be in his purpose for me to even follow him. Even if it's a dream, whatever he wants to do in his lifetime or whatever he has for me to do as his woman. I think that's what I mean by leading, not necessarily um, having the money because, like again, money is tangible. You can lose it today and you can gain it again tomorrow. So it's important for men to have. Well, I mean, I don't really date out my race, so it's important for me when I'm dating a black man. It's important for him to have purpose, and if he is down, I need you to have solutions. How are you going to get back up? How are you show me how you can get up out of whatever you're coming out of? How are you leading and what direction are you going in your life? So that's what I mean by that. Not necessarily financial, but
With
spiritually.
everything. And then I also heard you mention, what did I hear you mention? You said lead, and then you said help build a man. What do you think about that? Like overall, how do you feel about helping a man out and helping that man be greater than what he is? As far as if you are the breadwinner in the relationship, as a woman, how do you feel about pushing that man up, in that aspect? If that makes sense.
I feel like Nunu, it's a catch-22 as a black woman because you can want to build a man. I don't mean like build him, like give him everything. If that's what you're leaning towards, or I'm not sure if that is what you're asking, but as far as you want to be I feel like a woman should be a support to her man. you want to support him in whatever he's driven to do, right? So, but at the same time, he also already should be driven. Like, I'm not here. I have, my son is 20. Well, he'll be 20. And he should already have the mind state to want to grow. So I'm not talking about those that the men or the niggas that have to be told what to do, can't get past go. You know what I mean? I'm talking about those that are driven, because there are men that, might not have as much as the next person, but need that support and that push. So I feel like it's definitely a catch-22 when I say to build a man, not build him as in give him everything or provide for him, but support him in his endeavors and whatever he has going on. And if he has nothing going on, then I would have to question myself on why I'm even fucking with you. Because like I said again, I'm not really in the business of having no man in my cipher that I can't learn or grow from. You know what I mean? It's like if there's a man in my life that I can't learn or grow from, we really don't talk as much as we can. I mean, everybody even from just regular male friends are I can listen and I can grow. But if I can't grow from that person, then 9 times out of 10, I don't even be bothered.
Well said, sister. Do we
I'm gonna
have
be honest.
any men that want to rebuttal or say
No,
anything towards that?
yeah, I don't want to rebuttal. I appreciate her honesty and her transparency. I just want to put it out there. I don't think that women is respecting men that ain't making money. They respect the dollar. You know what I'm saying? You could be intellectually, but they want to see if that intellect is translating to some currency, and the currency that I'm talking about is not just the energy. They want to see the money. They could play all day long and act like, oh, I respect him. I admire his mind. But when it all comes down to it, if she's not really with you for who you are, that money is going to be the determining factor how long she respects you.
That's where the
So,
thin line comes from, not to
saying,
cut anybody off. That's where I said the thin line, because yeah, with the way the economy is, don't nobody want, but different jobs pay this much, whatever, wherever, what city you're in depends on your quality of life. It's like you got to have something. So no woman wants a man that's just not having nothing. Like, you can't, you just sit now playing I mean, not everybody.
uh,
I'm talking about like play.
not having nothing is not. You can't even come to the game and play with nothing. You can't even
Right,
sit at the table. That's not
right.
what we talking about. We talking about
But that's equivalent, right? Because you're saying, like, women, you said women
I'm
don't respect.
saying a man need more respect than a man that she just admires and respects his mind. She's going to look at this man's money, whether he got it by way of being a shrewd businessman, whether he was a grimy ass, as you called him early, nigga, and he got it from the mud and from the blood. That's what she gonna respect. She gonna respect that money. All that.
I'm just saying that there are, but there are women that look at, because there are a lot of women that make more than their men. So if I got that covered,
And they not
then
respecting a man is what the point I'm trying to make. The women that's making more than a man, they not respecting a man. The women that's making more, even if they acting like it, Because I guarantee you, like let's just say, once she get around the men that's making the money, like how she respect, you're gonna see the difference. You're gonna see the difference on how she treats that man, how she responds to that man.
And Amen, I have a question for you. Why do you feel like the women in today's world are not respecting that man that doesn't make as much as her? What are the reasons?
I think one is I can't answer that. That's a question for the woman. I really can't.
I
Can't
don't
answer
think,
that.
at least for me personally,
I was about to jump right in that, but I can't really, because if the man is
risky behavior.